Another huge award for my guys at Muscle Meds. Their carnivore RTDs got RTD of the year at Generation Iron. I told you guys these RTDs are killer.
Roger that. Carnivore RTDs are loaded with 40 grams of beef protein isolate without any fat, sugar, or lactose. These are a must-have for every single workout, guys.
Exactly. Plus, they are slamming. You guys got to get on these RTDs. Carnivore RTDs are the way to go.
Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, FE. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. We're never tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the champ and the tramp, let the bomb blast.
I'm just here.
Yeah?
I thought I was just here.
No, it's Roger that's just here.
It's a repeat for me.
Idiot. All right. On that note, we got a good one for you guys today. We have two very accomplished actors who just so happen to be married.
Not me and you,
to
though,
each
Raj.
other.
Not me and
Not
you.
us. Definitely not us. We did throw our hat in the ring, though. But Amanda Clayton, Kevin Interdonato, who's been on the show before,
and he
better half today.
Your name was okay. He kind of stumbled over
Did
your
I
name
get
a
it?
little bit.
Did I get
A
it?
little bit.
Okay, good. What is it?
Interdonato, bro.
That's what I said.
Interdonato. Come on.
There it is.
I got no mic.
Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear myself. I think it's my wire.
That was the.
Is it a little short?
Yeah, story of your life. No, I'm back now. I got it now. Yeah, so you guys have been. Let me just read some of your accomplished work here for the listeners out there. You may have heard of some of these. The Sopranos, Law and Order, CSI, Blue Collar Boys, City on a Hill, The Mentalist, Rizzoli and Isles. I mean, some pretty accomplished material there, folks.
Couple things.
Bunch of the NCISs.
That's yeah. Bunch of 3 and 4 letter words in there. Yeah, that's great. So I guess my first question for you guys, I'm gonna ask you both, is have you been approached by the Illuminati yet?
I can't reveal.
As in Scientology?
Any 10
Scientologist, yes.
He would have just put us close. Yeah.
Any 10 movie deals you've been offered for?
Amanda did for a while. See, this is what happens when I'm the low man on the totem pole today. I don't even get a stand. I don't get nothing.
Yeah, no, you have to.
Angie's like, yo, just hold it in your hand, dude. Amanda was tied up in the studio system. She's done a lot of big stuff before. Yeah. And what was the one they wanted you to do? Paranormal Activity, one of those? At one point?
Like 17. I don't even know which one it was.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of wanted me to. I tested for it, but that was a wild experience to be. Yeah.
Dude, I gotta say,
presented.
of I don't know what we're calling that. What genre? Let's just go with horror, right? That probably scared the shit out of me more than anything because you don't actually see anything. You know, it's like let your mind fuck with you and sorry, we're not supposed to swear in the first 2 minutes. Mess with you is worse than actually visually seeing something. You know, like Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees.
It's
like
the Hitchcock effect.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally a Hitchcock effect.
Is that what they call it?
Hitchcock was the one who's sort of perfected it and was like
suspense.
His thing was like, there is nothing I can show you that is worse than what your mind
can do to you.
Do to you. Yep. I can show you something fine, but you might be like, some guy might be like, Kevin might be like, oh, well, that's weird. And I might be like, oh my God, that's terrible. But if whatever you think is happening
that's why I know Roger
is crazier and
scarier
than he's ever going to show you.
There we go.
I'm saying
it's going to be some epic line. Go ahead,
he was saying he's not really a reader. Okay. He's not much into reading. Okay. All right. But, like, if you watch The Shining or you read The Shining, it's night and day.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's an amazing movie. Get me wrong. But the book can't hold a candlestick to the book.
Is there anything that you've experienced that have been the opposite of that, where you thought the movie was actually better than the book, or no, it's always the book's better?
I feel like always the book's better.
Yeah, always the book's better. I don't know. There's definitely got to be one out there. I mean, I don't read that much. Just a lot compared to you.
All right. Let's see where we're going here. Blair Witch Project, another one, and that was
one actually
low budget film
when it first came out. Remember, like that first
week,
everyone thought it was real.
Anything?
Yeah, but when we were kids and that first came out, everybody
scared to go in the
thought
woods.
that was real.
Yeah.
But everybody thought it was real.
Yeah, so
Found footage wasn't a thing yet.
Yep.
So we all thought somebody actually found that footage.
Exactly.
I
And that this
remember
really fucking happened.
going to the movies with a couple of friends. And we were saying, I was like, how is the army not in the woods right now? You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. How is this possible? And then we all went back to this person's house, and the news was on, and the news came on. They were like, "Oh, the movie Blair Witch, it was fake." I'm like, "Oh, it was." I was relieved.
Yeah.
I was like so happy.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
like,
You
it's
know what I'm
not
saying?
real.
But that
No,
was
it's not
real.
real. Thank God.
I was at the
How many
the
years
third
did
night
you
it
believe
came
in
out.
wrestling?
It was
You still think wrestling's real?
Hey, it is kind of real, bro.
It's-
a little bit. But yeah, that was talk about brilliant, man.
Yeah.
Just letting people think
Again,
Yeah.
it was real. Not
very
without
small
saying,
budget.
you know?
Can you look that up, Andrew? What the budget was on Blair
Oh,
Witch?
God, that was-
It was like 20 grand.
It was
no,
it
like
was
20 grand.
What it
bro.
made,
Yeah.
it
20
might be.
grand.
Yeah.
Well, there's another one that was kind of like that recently. Skin-a-marink.
Never heard of it.
Oh, right.
What's it called?
Yeah, Skin-a-marink.
Skin-a-marink.
Skin marink.
I didn't see it yet.
It was.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
and it got like mixed stuff because some people, and it's the same like Hitchcockian. It plays on what scared you as a kid.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Because it's these two kids. I won't give anything. I'm not going to give anything away because I haven't seen it. But I know the premise is like these two kids wake up in the middle of the night, and they're like 5 and 7 or something. They're like really super little, and they wake up in the middle of the night, and their dad is gone. The windows either don't exist, like there's no more windows, and the doors won't open, and the only light they have in the house is their television. And it's on, and they can watch, and they're like, "Let's watch something happy," like.
But that's what
and
it
they
does,
like
right?
travel. They like walk around the house looking for their dad, and their dad is missing. So it's like plays on your like,
Jeez.
like
Your young psyche, like when you were a
like-
kid, like that fear
that
we had when we were
back of your
kids.
brain fear.
It taps into that shit. Yeah,
Or like your fear, like of your kids, right?
sure,
That's
man.
your
Or
kids,
that.
Yeah.
That would be like for me thinking about like, oh my god, if she just woke up and
Yeah,
nobody
you're
was
gone,
home, I would
yeah.
like, oh, what would that do? But and apparently people were either like, nothing really happens, it's not that scary, or people were like, this is the scariest.
Yeah.
I was so uncomfortable and I couldn't sit
But
still.
did you hear about that? I was talking with Glenn Rodriguez, my partner from Sons, about it the other day. He's a big horror fan, and he was like, "Yeah, it came out of nowhere, it popped, and just like Blair Witch did." And I'm like, "Nothing comes out of nowhere in this business. That's the story." So I looked into it, and he was looking into it, and like a day later, he did a deep dive, and sure enough, like the guy that was the director was like a director in the Sundance Lab. Like there was some kind of connection already.
Yeah,
To say
it
like you
doesn't-
get
you
plucked
don't-
from obscurity and the movie just pops out of nowhere.
It's impossible.
Nah,
Yeah.
dude, no
Yeah.
way, no way.
So that you're saying that there's a backstory there. with
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
that-
I mean, it sounds good. It makes for a good
right,
story.
right.
This low budget feature, which it was,
Yeah.
very low.
Well, there was a
but-
part 2, I remember, and I was excited to watch it, and it was absolutely horrible.
Oh, I got a
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
It was a
right.
sequel.
Like like comedians right now, like Andrew Schulz just released his special on YouTube and stuff like that. Does anybody do that with movies? Like,
It's starting to roll right now. Like it's been around, but there's been a fear factor of it.
What, just releasing?
Yeah, I'm going through it with Dirty
Yeah,
Hand. I'm going
yeah.
through it with my next film right now because the movie and the distributors take like unheard of amounts of money of the profit of your movie. It's like unheard of. You have to make so much money in order to make money.
yeah,
So and I'll be quick with this. I don't be long with it, but there's distribution companies and then there's aggregators. Aggregators are not distributors, but they have the same contacts distributors do. So a distributor has the relationships to the platforms, and then they market your movie, and they might go theatrical with it. They might do this with it. An aggregator, no. They're like, you give us an upfront fee, you pay us one time, we're out, and we'll hook you up on Amazon, this, that. You handle everything on your own.
Yeah.
So the filmmaker that has like an entrepreneurial mind and understands the business and how to navigate it and can get their own marketing guy, their own publicist, all their own stuff, they'll succeed. And it's like literally 100% of the profit. You go through a distributor, good luck. You know, it's really on the deal you make.
What
But
if it's like
there's
just content
process.
that they don't want? Like The Sound of Freedom pops in my head right there. That got turned down for years and years and years by a lot of companies. You know, we were talking about YouTube. Aren't they pretty picky about what they put on there? I mean,
Certain platforms, I'm sure, are semi picky, but there's also like it's with certain stuff. It doesn't matter. There's
Really?
just content is
Yeah.
content.
Yeah,
if
right.
it's like Netflix and things like that have more control over what they're putting up,
gotcha.
but
Yeah.
it's mostly content is content and anything. That's,
So the movie business is changing more now. And I found out more and more distributors, without telling a filmmaker, actually use aggregators. They like it's called they like white label it. So if you make a deal with a distributor and like, yeah, we'll get your film here, here, here. You make the deal, you sign it, and they turn around and go pay an aggregator to do the work for them. So an aggregator makes money having deals in place with the distributors, and that stuff's not really public information.
Gotcha.
And then a filmmaker can go right to an aggregator as well. So, yeah.
Just kind of cutting the middleman out.
Why not, man? Yeah. You know, nowadays it's like, why the fuck not? You know, like,
yeah, hell yeah.
You know, you got to make money, man. So,
with certain stuff, because then you have to.
But you got to do everything.
You have to do everything, and you have to do it on your own. So if you have
everything.
no mind for how to market and do publicity and make sure your publicist is doing the right thing and guiding them through it and doing more marketing, so it would be impossible to like get your film seen by anybody.
Could a film, if it's an amazing film with none of that stuff, could it succeed?
Depends.
It'd be tough, right?
Yeah.
Certain genre, I think, like a horror film, because people are constantly looking
for it. Yeah.
Horror is like a fix. It's like you want that next thing that's gonna like one up the last thing you saw.
And action's a number one.
Action, people just like
by far.
And
action's
then,
like
Christian,
wow,
religious based content.
Yep.
Yeah, goes.
See, I could see horror.
There's a
I know
huge market for people that don't want to see horror and they don't want to see see blood and gore and things.
It's the other half.
It's like the other, and they want.
Gotcha.
They want feel good. They want whatever else.
I'm gonna make a Christian action film.
Yeah, that dude.
Called
Christian action film.
That genre
Called Jesus Fucks
may
You Up. That's
wanna not watch Bastard Sons because there's a tad violence in there.
A tad.
It's nothing.
The next one we're up in the game big time with that
Didn't
one.
tap.
Didn't tap.
But yeah, action films sell. Even if it's like the worst action film in the world.
I think I got like Roger watching it. You know?
He's gonna be here all night, guys. He's gonna keep saying the same stuff. Obviously,
No, they call them popcorn flicks, right? Right? What's a popcorn flick, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's literally just
know,
mindless, like fun, whatever.
I kind of like movies like that though, and shows like that, just because you don't have to like too much invested. Sometimes
Here's
you're
my head.
watching like
a
Breaking. I watch
Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah,
you gotta
Quentin
like
Tarantino.
you gotta
Pay
make notes.
attention.
You know
Or
what I
even
mean?
Breaking Bad, like I'm watching it, binging it, and I'm like in the shopping store, like thinking about fucking Walter White. You know what I mean? Like,
I literally
it's
say the
crazy.
same thing. I used to go to bed being like, I hope Jesse's okay.
We were just talking about Game of Thrones in the truck before. Like
We were
we're
literally-
rewatching Thrones right now, just like before we go to bed, you know.
But as like a
But it's like a come off, man.
because we already know what happens,
Right.
so it's like
Yeah,
like
but
oh,
that
let's
show
just
you
throw that
can
on.
watch again. It's almost, if I watched it from the beginning, I'd be like, oh, I've learned something new, definitely. 'cause
I just said it the other night. I was
they're
like,
so far
I never
apart
caught
too.
that before.
Sometimes, right? When we watch them, weren't they sometimes take 2 seasons off?
Yeah,
Felt
or it's like
they're
it feels
just
like 2
even
years
a year,
later.
even a year goes by. I've got hit too many times. I forget.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. And that's happening more and more now. Well, especially with COVID, took like a big chunk of time away, and so like everything's getting caught up, and now they're like all backlogged.
Yep.
But it's nice to go back to like
That shit
older
better never
stuff
come
sometimes.
back. But anyway,
Let's
regardless,
not talk about that.
Let's not talk about
Do
that.
not speak its name.
Exactly. Obviously, I was joking. We know you guys. You're good people. But do you think? I mean, if you heard did you guys see the Cat Williams interview with Shay Shay?
It was like 2 hours
I saw
long, right?
clips of
I mean-
it.
Well, Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
It's a Shay Shay show. isn't it?
Roger, they're on
This
Shay
guy-
Shay terms.
If this guy didn't rip on me, he would have nothing to say. But anyway,
Listen, I got a lot of fucking material.
that's all you do, bro. That's all you do. You got nothing. You sit over there and don't say shit. You know, obviously you talked about you know, Hollywood and you know, people being, I guess, offered certain things to be part of the cult, right?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you guys, but do you think that's a real thing? Do you think that like exists? Ooh, the look.
All you.
I look, I have thought. I don't know if it's like that, but I do. I think there's like, look, there's old stories, right, that everybody knows now as like pretty true, that there was certain actors,
She's being really good. Just
certain actors
dude suck dick. That's what
who
she's getting
did
at.
certain things that you would never think, and like the casting couch, like obviously with Weinstein and all this stuff that's come out and now, like it's all out in the open. Like you can't hide certain stuff. So it's there's always been people that would literally, quote unquote, like sell their soul and do things that they wouldn't have normally done in their little hometown, but then you get there and you have all these promises and you just go for it.
Right.
I always said, like, I'm so glad I didn't move to LA until I was like 30 years old, because I can see being there. I could see as 20 something, I would have been like, that's sounds
jump at the
great.
opportunity.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
her
yeah.
cheekbones. I should do that. Like, I just would have been plastic surgery and whatever else just to try to like fit a mold. Because you look around and everything looks normal.
Right. Because everybody.
That is
Everything.
the norm, right?
You
Yeah.
start to look like me. I was like, I would never. And I was in my 30s and I was like, that's not necessary. And then I started to look around and be like, oh, but I do like how that looks. Like, I wonder, I should start. And you hear your friends talking about it and you're like, oh, maybe I will come with you next time. And I was like, what am I doing? I got to go back to Jersey. Like, this is because then you come back to anywhere
reality.
away from Los Angeles and you're like, oh, that isn't the norm. Like, and there's nothing wrong with it, but there's definitely a bigger culture of it there where it's
Sure.
literally like it's everywhere and you can't escape it and it feels normal. So there's that element alone makes me feel like it wouldn't be weird if there was like some level of a whatever it is, whatever sacrifices people are making. Yeah, like you lose all sense of like
Roger just wants the
reality.
Andrew Chrome. You're Andrew Connect.
Adrenochrome? Is that what you're
What
trying
is
to
it?
say?
Andrew
Hey,
Chrome?
this fucking brilliant fucking dude over here. Adrenochrome? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's Andrew Chrome.
Andrew Chrome.
Andrew
Andrew
Chrome.
Chrome.
Brilliant commentary by the guy that gets hit in the head over there.
So what were you referring to with Cat Williams' video?
You can tell Roger's getting
He-
upset by my
he, like,
intelligence.
calls everybody out,
He's a
like-
little upset.
It's just relentless. It's just the same shit over and over. I'm not getting upset. He basically said that certain people, like he was talking specifically about Ludacris was offered Ludacris, right?
Yeah.
Was offered like a 10
Yeah,
movie
It was
deal,
between the two of them, right, or something. So
Well-
they were both offered that deal.
and guess who got it?
And Ludacris,
If he did what?
I don't know. He said I don't know what to join to be a part of the Illuminati.
Sell your soul.
Right,
I
yeah,
guess.
so years old, I guess he said he
Made a lot of
what did he say,
references
though?
about guys doing gay shit, dressing up in women's dresses and things
Yeah.
like that to get
He's
Kevin.
like, man, they tried
Kevin
getting-
Hart was
yeah.
one he was kind of ripping on, saying Kevin would have been a nobody until he put a dress on. You know, so
But he he was even talking about Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
But
There's
it's
so
actually
much about
it's
everybody.
actually
He's like,
kind of true, right?
They tried giving that to me first. Big Mama, I was
But
like, I
that's
ain't
the
put no
thing.
dress on.
That's the thing. There's so many. Okay, Cat Williams, he's done his thing, whatever else. Everybody still knows who he is. So you could be like, oh, what's he jealous of? But still, like, everybody has it. No matter what level you get to, you always want to get
Sure.
more. Everybody does. And so
And there are people that will do it because it's LA's
and
the
then
land
there's
of
people
broken
that get
dreams, right?
jaded
Like
and people,
everybody
right.
goes out
It's
there
like
to-
everybody's got a thing. And LA's the worst. LA, I would book a job and people would go, "Oh my God, who's your agent again?" I book a job and I come back to New York and talk to people about it. They're like, "Oh my God, we're going out. We're gonna have a drink. We're gonna this is amazing. Oh my God." So anyway, here's my job. What happened to me? And it just moves on. But it's like this. It's just automatic. People are just like on you.
You can't get away
You can't
from
get
it.
away from the
Your
like.
personal life was your business.
Who are you?
and-
Who? Do you know anybody? Like, why? And like, I went out for that. Oh, that's so funny because I auditioned for that too. That's so funny, but I couldn't.
Now,
And
why
it
does
becomes
everybody
this thing?
go? I mean, typically, I think on aspiring actresses, right? Go there. Is it more? I mean, you guys get plenty of work on the East Coast. Is it more plentiful
where
to
they
be
go
there?
there.
It was. And then there's a lot more. I mean, when I was out there, we were both out there for like 7 years before we came back, and I went out there. Everybody, when I was in New York, I was in New York for 7 years before I went there, and when I was in New York, I had friends from LA that I had done a film with and whatever else, and they were in LA still, and they were like, "You have to come out here. I'm telling you, like, get to Los Angeles." And it took me a really long time, and finally I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." And then I went out there, cool, and I like hit the ground running because it sparked something in me too to be like so far away from the East Coast, and like, okay, if I'm out here, I gotta,
Like, you're really
I have to
going
like
after
take
it.
this
Yeah,
seriously. When I was in New York, I was just like dicking around, waiting tables, watching my friends in their bands, and like, oh, there's an audition, whatever. And then I was there for a long time, got a career underneath me, and then was like, why am I still here? Most of the jobs that I was working when I lived in LA were in Atlanta, Rhode Island, Louisiana, back in Atlanta. Like I worked like one
You're
or two jobs
from
in
Rhode
LA.
Island,
I'm
right?
from Rhode Island originally. Yeah, and I booked a film that happened to shoot in Rhode Island. And then it was like, and 50% at that time, before pre-COVID and now we put all of our auditions on tape, but even at that point, 50% of our auditions were still on tape, being sent out to producers who were working out of Atlanta or out of Chicago or wherever else.
Gotcha.
And I was like, we don't have to do this anymore. We don't have to be here anymore. We kind of like, it is the hub, right? It's always been the hub since like the studio systems kind of built it up and staked their claim to that area, and it made sense geographically. But now with the advancements in even just technology, it's like, oh, people are realizing, oh, we can do this anywhere. Now, Atlanta is kind of like the Hollywood of the East Coast has become. They have a huge tax credit. Tyler Perry built a giant studio in Atlanta. And
well, isn't Netflix coming to...
Netflix is supposed to be coming to Monmouth Army
Hopefully,
Base.
Sooner than later.
You said there's tax breaks in Jersey now, too?
There's a huge tax break in Jersey now. And Chicago has a good one. Even like South Carolina had a good one for a while. I don't know if that still stands or not. But I mean, they're all like everywhere else started going. And Rhode Island is shooting a ton of stuff back in my like hometown. That area is like, there's tons of films, and Jamie Lee Curtis and like Woody Harrelson were just there. All my friends are like, oh my God, we just saw Woody Harrelson. Like everybody's like just hanging out in Rhode Island. And so it's really not necessary to be there anymore. But I think there's still, that draw is never going to go away.
Right.
It is still LA. I didn't love it ever being there, but it's still.
Well, the weather's
I really
amazing.
love going back to visit and being able to like just be there again. We just took our kid back there for a little vacation in December, and it was like, oh, this is fun. We get to show her all these like fun places.
Would you want to raise a child there? Never, right?
That's why we left.
Yep.
No. We literally, before we even had her, we had just gotten married, and we were like,
It was your idea to come back home.
come back,
Yeah.
I had a weird epiphany. I was like sitting
Well,
on
you
our
say
balcony
come
one day,
back
and
home.
I was like,
You're from Jersey. She's from Rhode Island. But did you guys live in Jersey before you went?
no, we met out there.
But since we were married, now she's Jersey now. So
right
that was that.
You got a really good accent. You were doing upstairs. You got it down. She was doing some of the housewives and some of the mob. Can you give us big hands? Give us some big hands.
The big hands. Oh, R.I.P. No, in the Drita. Drita quote is one of my favorites, where she's like, I like to fight comfortable, and how I'm comfortable is with no shoes. Because she got in a big fight, and she had to like kick her. She literally stopped to like take her shoes off.
I met her a couple of times, and she's like super, super. I mean, she talks exactly like that, but super, super sweet. But I feel like on that show, she was fighting somebody every single episode.
All the time.
Literally, yeah.
But oh my God, she was so funny. It was she's in this fight, in a brawl, and she like stopped everything to rip her shoes off.
That's Frank's on that show?
No, this was two different shows, right? That was
Mob Wives was
Mob Wives. Drita was on.
Drita,
He's on
Big
Housewives.
Ange and all that.
Housewives. Yeah. Housewives in New Jersey. He's on.
And
I think Mob Wives was before Housewives.
Housewives
before, right?
It
No.
might have been around the same time.
I think Housewives of New Jersey was like the second.
Was New York
franchise.
the first one?
Yes.
Orange County.
No, Orange County.
Orange County was the first one. Yeah. Yep.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
It's like forever ago now. Those shows
Andy
have been
Cohen's made some bucks out of that.
Seriously, but that's there's LA is its own. To circle back, LA is its own entity. It is its own. It wouldn't surprise me that there is an element of like, even if it's pretend, even if it's not real and doesn't exist or whatever. But if somebody's selling something that
Snake
it
oil.
promises you,
Yeah.
yes, like 1,000%. People are like, I'll do it.
I was just gonna say, remember on Hollywood Boulevard?
1,000%, yes.
So Scientology is, and nothing against a Scientologist, but they kind of
tell Danny
intertwine that.
Masterson that.
Yeah,
He
It's
just
promises.
went to prison for 30 years. He was a Scientologist, by the way. But
he's not the
dude,
only
you know
one.
his charges
Wait,
were
what did
There's a
he go to
bunch.
prison for?
for
Rape.
Rape, yeah.
Raping a girl?
Yeah, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
before,
I bet you
before the
because he
70s
left
show.
Scientology, they probably stuck it to him.
No,
Did
I
he
think
leave? Is that why?
No, I don't
that
think he
what-
left.
I don't
I don't believe he left.
Okay.
I think he was still. But they just moved him because he got the shit kicked out of him.
Wow.
Because
I didn't know that.
even in prison, there's like there's a pecking order, and obviously anybody that does anything to a child is on the bottom.
Oh, right.
Just above that is rapist. You know what I mean? So they had a head, and he was in medical, I think, for like 10 days, and they couldn't hold him there any longer. 2 prison guards were walking him back to his cell, and they attacked him. They had like a I think they call it like an on-site hit on him. Like doesn't matter who's with him, wherever.
Whoa.
And now they moved him to a nice cushy prison.
There's got to be bragging rights for
That's
that,
not
for people doing that too. Like
The 70s show
Can
guy.
you imagine that?
What,
to
the
be
guy
inmate,
that-
like,
oh,
yo, I
yeah.
fucked up that 70s show kid.
That dude had the world by the balls and just did. I think before the 70s show even was filmed, it was like these. And it was like 4 women, I think, from 20 years ago, like the early 2000s.
Dude, I wonder
when
how many
did the
people
70s
are-
show? When was that on?
I think early 2000s.
Early 2000s,
Was
yeah.
it?
But I wonder how many dudes were shitting bricks when that came out. You know, because I mean
Well, it wasn't
that
just
stuff
that.
happened.
It was before that. It was there was plenty of dudes that got stuff called out post Weinstein.
Right, but that's the ones that were called
saying
out. You know, like there's a lot of that.
You see,
stuff,
he's
man.
trying. He's appealing his sentence. I think.
Oh, didn't Bill Cosby get released?
He did.
He got
What?
out on appeal, didn't he?
Something
Pretty sure
like
he
that,
did.
yeah.
Can you look that up, Andrew? Bill Cosby got out.
God.
He's out, right?
What?
But got out on an appeal, I think, right? Or was it because of COVID?
Because he's blind, right? Isn't he like blind?
Or is he just is it like
Might be, yeah. Which I mean,
he's going
still.
anyway?
So,
Still, like,
So
dude.
the
What's his name
Scientology
was trying to get out because of COVID. He was claiming the singer that also essayed a whole bunch of women.
R. Kelly?
R.
R.
Kelly was
Kelly.
trying to get out because of COVID. saying
because of COVID.
he needed-
Essay.
Was he like
He's
singing
not-
his?
Is he Spanish?
Well, I feel like you,
No,
you say
S.A.
you say certain words
S-
and you get flagged. I feel like so. I'm saying S.A.
I'm messing with him.
That's what Frankie does.
S.A.
Got the brain of a 7-year-old.
Oh, you're messing with him. That's so weird. I didn't know that was it.
S.A.
He got out on an appeal.
Yeah, violations of his due process rights.
Yeah.
What?
So he.
no,
so
no,
wait,
no, no.
wait,
That
wait.
makes me
He's free and
violations
clear.
of his due process rights. But what about the violations that
he
like?
did,
Why is that a
yeah.
thing? You don't get to have a violation of anything if you violated somebody. That's so
The shit he
screwed
did
up.
was crazy.
He's
I know,
got
but back in the day,
money.
everybody. But he had that show with the kids, like
It's
kids
so
say the
screwed
darndest things or
up.
whatever that show was. Like,
Well, I just love Eddie Murphy Raw when he's like, or was it Delirious, whatever, when he's telling me
he's making-
that Bill Cosby's like, you're stupid darn first and
Jello
starting murder.
pudding
Like,
pop.
he's like, man, fuck you.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, that's how the guy that's telling you you're cursing is sitting there raping,
Yeah,
drugging
yeah,
women and
right,
raping them.
right.
That's the craziest shit ever.
And then you get to have, because your rights were violated.
Yeah, yeah.
You poor thing.
Yeah.
I
No.
believe they. I think I could have this wrong again. Andrew, look this up.
We went off Scientology though, right?
Well, we were talking about Danny Masterson
Yeah,
because he was a
yeah, yeah.
Scientologist.
Oh, right.
But I believe that he had a mistrial, and then he was retried, where the judge allowed testimony to be allowed in with no, like he allowed the women to say they were drugged with no proof. You know what I mean? And that's what really got him in the end. Was
So just what they said.
He just
it was
allowed the
just-
hearsay
It was
of
just.
that?
I believe that's how he
I mean,
actually got. 'Cause
so
I
that's
think
what
his
he's
first one was a
saying.
mistrial. They allowed the women to say, like, I know this guy drugged me, but no proof. I mean, because and listen, obviously the guy's probably a fucking
Well,
absolute
yeah.
scumbag, but usually you need some sort of proof. You know what I mean? So, but I think his
Which is so screwed
sentence
up.
was given to him basically all on just the word of,
Hearsay. That's kind of
which seems to be becoming more and more the thing now. You know? I mean,
When that many people like
yeah.
say the same fucking thing.
well, yeah.
No, I'm saying he's probably an absolute fucking
Right.
dirtbag scumbag, but.
I get it because
But, like, why did-
what is stopping anybody from saying a bunch of stuff?
Right. That's the
altogether
scary part, right?
about,
That is
right,
the scary
about
part.
anybody.
And why is it so long? Why did they wait so long? Right? Like that had to be.
Well, there's-
Yeah. Well, it was the same thing with Harvey Weinstein case, right? A lot of
Right.
those had gone on.
Sometimes you
for,
feel there's
right.
there's embarrassment or
Yeah,
there's
I
nobody's
could
gonna
see that.
believe
I could
me,
see that,
which
yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
it's like being shown. But it's God, that's so screwed up.
Mm.
To even just call it that, to be like violation of due process. You violated how many people? Your violations don't matter anymore.
Who would have
he
ever
shouldn't
thought,
get.
though?
He, like, since he was so blatantly guilty, it's like the person that violated those rights should go to jail. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Whoever messed up, you go to jail. You
Right.
know?
There's-
And they always filmed him too, like walking into the courtroom, and he seemed so smug, even walking in, like
Yeah.
just
Some dudes got that look on their
Yeah,
face,
yeah.
like they wake up with it, just that smug arrogance, you know.
find anything on that or no?
On Masterson?
Yeah. Did he
I
did he have
didn't know
did he
that.
have a mistrial?
Yeah,
He did, right?
2022.
And then I believe that he was convicted
Oh.
essentially on just the word of his accusers, without the evidence of them being drugged. They were allowed to say that they believed they were drugged, yet no evidence was
Jesus,
proved.
man.
None of them did a rape kit. None of them. And again, I'm not defending him, but I'm
No,
just
it's-
saying it's
Touchy.
It's
Yeah.
such it without being
Yeah.
because it was 20 years old, you know.
no, but it's man, it is so screwed up because look, I know a dude who
Screwed up and touchy. That's probably not the best two words.
not the best. How do you talk about this?
Screwed in, maybe. No.
No, but I know somebody who in college had a situation with a girl where they were dating, and then was like nothing happened. Like weren't sleeping together. This is we're talking like freshmen, like barely 18 years old. Like,
They weren't sleeping together.
No, they were not. They were dating, but they weren't sleeping together. And
They sleep next to each other.
no, well, they were in dorms and boys and girls dorms or whatever, but they wouldn't like they were hanging out, hooking up, kissing, whatever, but never slept with each other. And then she he would always be like, "Do you want it?" Like he was an awkward like teenager and was like, "Are we gonna?" And she'd be like, "No." And he would be like, "Okay, respectfully, no, good night. Respectfully, no, good night. Good night. Always just walk away." And then one day she comes and she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? What are you gay?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, you're not like pressuring me. You don't want to. And he's like, "You're saying no. So I'm not doing it."
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, this is ridiculous." What, like we as women are so programmed to think like, we have to say no, that we're not supposed to enjoy it, that we're not supposed to. So there's these like fucked up mixed messages, and then that's messing up like with guys who are like,
So
I don't know what I'm
saying?
supposed
Are
to.
More
you
women
saying
should say
no means
yes.
But that's the thing, and
There's
that's
a
like,
stand-up comic, and I can't think of who it is, that has a whole bit on that. It's great. He's like, there's a difference between saying no and no. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a fucking difference.
so so like, what am
Yeah.
I supposed to do? Literally
Right.
like punch you in the face
But
and be
when
like,
you're-
no,
when-
and I mean
when
it.
you're
or-
in court,
right?
it sounds the same. When they're
Yeah.
reading it back
Right.
and they say, "Did you say no?" and the girl says yes. Well, at the time you were saying no. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
Right. And this girl's saying no, meaning
Right.
like, come on and like fight for this.
Right.
But then if he did, then she would be like, "Oh my God, I said no." Like,
Right.
it's so
It's
screwed
I
up.
just seen
People
a Twitter
know the
interaction.
difference.
Like Jake.
Yes,
Shields. Jake Shields and some girl, I guess, he likes to inject himself in a lot of these conversations, taboo conversations. And some girl was talking about how that she had a boyfriend that didn't treat her the best, and if he didn't get sex from her, he would be mean to her and like real cold and this and that, so she would have to give it to him. Right, and she's like, he used his, his power over me to get me to have sex, and that was rape. Jake's like, no, it's not rape. If you said you gave it to him, if you said no, no means no, right?
Right.
So I don't
But
know.
there's and yeah, that's and
But
but
they
that's
say when people use power, the position of power is kind of rape. But I mean, when you're boyfriend girlfriend, I mean, that should be an equal position.
it should be, and that's a situation where I feel like not enough girls. I mean, not women, because you should be taught this, but for your woman, it's like girls are not given that circumstance to be like no, if that's the situation you're in, then
I think
you
people-
walk away,
Yeah, right,
dude. You
yeah,
get out. You say no. Like nobody should be pressuring you to do anything, and you should be able to. If
say
you're gonna
no,
do
yeah.
this, you should be like, "Hey, bro, I want to fuck. Like, what's up?"
Yeah.
And he should be like, "Oh, okay, cool." Not like, "Do you want to?" No, not right now. Oh, okay, that's fine. We
I
can
think
just watch a movie.
99% of the
it's-
world knows the difference. It's the
Yes.
1 or 2% of sociopaths that have no empathy and don't get it. If a girl says no, and you're a normally programmed human being, a man, you know that she means no. You know what I mean?
I do think that, but I do also think, coming from a male perspective, that I can understand that end of it. But as a female, and as a female who knows how to stand up for herself, I've had so many situations, from actual like sexual encounter to just simply like somebody touching me in a way that I didn't want to be, that I didn't know how to handle because I wasn't prepared to as a younger girl. And then like it was easier for me I guess, and I felt maybe more socially acceptable to just be like, ha ha ha, like to like giggle. So then when all this stuff started to come, like Me Too and all these things started to come out, I actually started to feel like a weird guilt. Because I was like, how many times did I giggle at somebody when I wanted to be like, get the fuck away from me, but I didn't feel empowered enough, whether it was a person in a position of power or not. And there were plenty of those too. But it was like, how many giggles did I give somebody that gave them the permission to now move on and continue to do something because they thought, oh, when they giggle, it's fine. Oh, she's just giggling. The giggle didn't mean it was fine. It was just, I didn't know what else to do.
Must
in
have
that
been
moment.
in a place of such uncertainty. You
And it was
know
like,
what to do,
right.
right.
And I didn't feel it was appropriate. I didn't feel like it was a person I could be like, excuse you. Like there was a lot of different things. And like,
Do I know?
oh, Bub, no, we're talking like my entire life.
All right, we'll talk about it later.
Kevin wants names.
We're talking my entire life.
Roger,
like we're talking.
Roger,
You guys leave and there's a K-bar missing.
He does giggle a lot when we're together.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
Now it's different, but now I feel like I have like it's such a weird, twisted thing. We could go deep dive into all this stuff, but it's like there is two sides to this, and there's the girls who didn't ever get the support to be like, it's okay for you to say go away. Now, and the girls who have done that, the women who have did that and been like, get the fuck away from me, don't ever do that to me again. And then that's a whole nother like
In the Harvey Weinstein case, there was that one girl. I think she was from a different country. I forget where. She was an actress. She flat out said no.
There was a
And she was a
couple.
key witness in putting
Yes.
him away because she flat out refused his, advances.
she told him no,
and
get
said
away from
no.
me, and said
and he and I think she had him recorded or something of that nature.
forget.
Anyway, it was a big nail in his coffin.
Yeah.
that this girl testified against him.
And the
so.
problem with him, especially, I mean, that was just, he was obviously using his power for whatever he wanted. And like, there was a lot of people got mad about the whole, like, and this has not just been said about him, but other people too. It's like, well, he came from a different generation and things were accepted. It's like, yeah, but dude, there's a line like different generation. And I agree with the different generation thing. Like, you see it right now. You see our generation, it was funny and acceptable to say certain things, and now this like newer generation of kids are like, what? Like,
Joey Diaz has a great bit about that. About using the word faggot. He's like, I don't mean nothing by it, but it's just where my generation. That's how I talk, and I am too old to change. And he's got a bit on it.
And like I get it, but it's like you have to change. You have to wake up. You have to like see the error in it and not just excuse it forever and ever. And then there's also the other thing where it's like, yeah, you grew up in a different time, but you also like there is also a line where you're like, yeah, that was acceptable, but now you're beyond unacceptable. It's like, it's insane. But there's still, on the female end of things, there's still plenty of girls that went to that room knowing exactly what they were doing. Right. There's still plenty of people, female individuals, who utilize this weird gray area to get something out of it.
It's not black and white.
And it's not black and white.
The people that say, well, they could have just said no. I get the position of power.
And I'm not saying don't believe a victim.
That,
and that's the thing. Believe the victim, that we have to until you can say otherwise. And like, it's because once you stop believing a victim, then it just runs rampant, right? It's like, well, prove it. But then when you can't prove something, it's like weird muddy waters.
There is a darker side to that too, with women who are just angry and make up shit. You know what I mean? So I do believe you need the burden of proof as well.
Sure.
But there's a lot of girls out there that hate their ex that make up some horrible shit. I know Frankie's gonna be like, is he talking about you? No, I'm not actually, but.
But there's plenty of guys that get things pinned on them that are wrong, and then there's the reality of it is there's plenty of women who have just dealt with it. That's our generational thing. That's our generational thing. And just turn away from it and be like, and then you start like now that we have so much available to us, now we have an entire like ether of everybody can connect with everybody. You can hashtag me too and be like, oh my God, this happened. Wait, that happened to me, but I didn't think it was, that happened to me. Oh my God. And now all these switches start coming on and you're like, oh man. And it happened to me that I was like, fucking me too. But that I never would have thought different. I wouldn't have thought about it that way ever. And then I'm like, oh my God, that happened a lot. Through my whole life. And it's not okay. But I don't have proof. I have stories. I have things. And then, like I said, I felt guilty on weird fronts to be like, oh my God, but I just giggled when he did it to me. So did I give him the permission to move on to somebody else and like do it again? Now, nobody's high profile and nobody like made it to the news, thank God. But like on my end, but there was definitely like my generational thing was just to like smile. So how was any of those guys supposed to think that something was not okay? So yeah, there's probably a lot of people like shitting bricks being like, well, she was smiling and giggling and everything was good and she everything was fine. Like, you know, yeah, she said no, but then like we made out and then she was cool with it. It's like, yeah, well, that's not necessarily how she probably was like, if I don't do this, what's going to happen to me? And that's the sad reality of it. And I think unless you sit down and have like conversations like this and make somebody go like, oh.
Do you believe in karma? Do you think they get there one day, whether it be in this life or the next?
I don't know. I don't know if I believe in like karma necessarily. I believe in energy, which I guess is other people's versions of karma. And I think that if you genuinely, I think there's some dudes out there who are sadly mistaken when it comes to what they think they did or what they think happened.
Oh, for sure.
Versus
what happened.
Talk to that girl.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think we would get more out of putting them in a room with a mediator to be like, and showing it to people. Be like, what's your version of the story? What's your version of the story? Like, because you think this happened, and then we never know the reality of the whatever. But it's definite. I've heard stories where it's like, I understand what she's saying, and I feel every ounce of what she's telling me. And when this guy's like, no, it was cool, she was fine with it, we were just drinking and it was great. I'm like, yeah, she made you think it was because she didn't know what else to do other than be like, no, come on, no, come on, don't. And then like, what? Because she wasn't crying, it's okay.
Well,
like,
hold on. Let's look at it like this. So you're referring to a guy, you know, in his position and everything like that. So let's just talk about an average Joe and an average girl, right? And if there was a situation where the guy's, you know, propositioned a woman or whatnot, and she was getting all giddy and didn't know how to say no, and you know, like you're referencing, shouldn't she claim any responsibility for not being able to just come out and say no rather than uncomfortably?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that as a collective. I'm saying I claim a level of responsibility for the things that happened because I did. I was like, I don't know what to do.
And there's been moments in my life that have not
and not
a
telling
woman.
somebody, don't fucking touch me like that. What's wrong with you? Like I didn't know how, and I was like 16 to.
I was gonna say there's a bunch of important variables there as well. Age being one of them.
A lot, but even I mean, we're even talking like 35 years old, and I had a boyfriend. Like this was a boyfriend that I didn't know how to put in his place, and so, and you know me, I'm not shy about putting people in their place when I have to. I just didn't know any better until I was like, oh, and I tried. It's a whole big story, but it's not that. Here's the thing. I feel like as a society, we have to do better about giving people, especially girls, a better power over themselves. Or that's a whole nother can of worms. But it's like, it's yes, there's a responsibility, but at the same time, when there's fear involved, because this guy could cross over into a place, this guy who's even my friend could cross over into a place that I don't want. It's even like the socio dynamics of the situation of like, He's drunk. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's my friend. And I'm about, like, this thing's about to happen and I really don't want it to. Come on, please stop it. Please stop it. Please stop it. Now what are you going to do? And you're going to cross a line. You have to be the bad guy to cross this line to what? Tell everybody he's trying to, like, and make him the bad guy. Like, there's, or physically do something that may make him mad and come at you, like when you're the smaller person.
You gotta think of women. That's men don't think that. Like women, like you're a woman. Right. What a man can do to a woman is big.
Yeah.
It's
real.
a very
it's
a scary, like it's a real, like a threat that it's not like, oh God, I'm scared of everybody, but it's also like, okay, this could go this way or it could go way this way really fast, and this is somebody who I don't want to have this like weird thing with. And so I'm just gonna, and eventually, even sometimes you're just like, it's easier. It's easier to just be like, okay, fine. And that shouldn't even be a thing. And it's like, we have to do better about teaching the girls to have more power, but also teach these boys.
How do you fix that? It's so complex. You know what I mean?
To have a better open conversation. But I think if sex in general is a better open conversation, I think if we can be like, vagina, penis, everything is okay, it's normal, we do this, and it starts somewhere around 13 years old, like give or take. Kids are doing this and it's all okay. It's not a sin and it's not whatever. I think that's where, like, we feel like we have to hide it and not talk about it and be like and coy and weird about it, especially girls. It's like that's where we set up a danger zone. That's where we set up a place that's like, oh God, I can't even tell my mom that this happened because, or my dad, forget it, he'd kill somebody. Right. It's like, nah, it's if she or he turns 13, guess what they're thinking about? Guess what's turning on in their system? Yup, let's talk about it, let's think about it, let's address it. And yeah, it's weird and I don't want to either, but if we do, and we give these kids now this like safer place to be like, this is normal behavior, we have to do this. We have to have sex. It's a normal thing. If we don't do it, the world dies. Like, it's not like it's so like
pleasure,
vilified.
And then there's procreation, right?
Right.
There's two different
right.
things.
There's two different things. But if you're just going to do it to procreate, then clearly that's not enough. Otherwise, it wouldn't be strip clubs and porn and everything. Like, clearly, there's the pleasure aspect is a huge aspect of doing it. So address it and don't make people feel like awful about it. Like, we have to embrace that part of it. And I feel like that's like this big weird thing that's like, we can't just walk up to each other and be like, look, bro, I'm hurting. You want to help me out or no? And like, it just like, and make it like quick and easy, and it sounds weird because it's not normal.
That was my pickup line, by the way.
I'm hurting.
I had a flashback.
And I was like, okay, fine.
I think that show I was affiliated with years ago sort of came up with the very thing you're talking about. Are you DTF? I got it right.
Literally, yes.
Are you DTF? Good.
Can we just
There's no more to the point than that.
Use the code. Use the code. Yeah. Yes or no. You got protection. You don't. I do. Everything's good.
Boom,
Bang,
boom,
bang.
boom.
Like,
Yeah.
get it done. And then everybody can move on and not have, if we just have to make it like not awkward to talk about and not like a weird thing behind closed doors that's like, yes, keep it private. It's privacy. We don't know not everybody needs to know about it, but if we can just talk about it like it's the normal thing that everybody's doing, then I think there would be a little more
a woman's
understanding.
Certainly is going to be, totally different than a man's perspective in this, and it comes down to power and a lot. I'm not just talking physically. You know what I mean? Like, I think men typically pressure first, right? Typically, I mean,
and I think a lot of that is because we're taught to not want you. Oh, that's no. Oh, you're not supposed to want that. Right. That's not ladylike. It's like, no, you might feel that someday. And it's okay to be like, hey, I kind of think you're cute. Like, like, that's okay. Ask him about it. Like, see if he's down. And that should be okay. Like, it's like you want to be courted too and whatever. And like, there's all that stuff that shouldn't like go away. But I think it needs to be a more level playing field, because I think we as girls are taught that it's dirty, it's gross, you shouldn't, like, you're a whore if you, or a whatever, if you are with multiple people.
I think they call it a thought these days.
A thought.
That's
And, like,
what that is.
That
I don't even know what this. What is
That-
THOT?
that
stand
hoe,
for?
that hoe over there.
Oh, is that it?
There you go. See, you guys know.
But yes, and it's like it's unacceptable, and I think that that needs to shift a little bit, because then I think girls grow up thinking that they're not supposed to, and then the no comes out of like, I'm not supposed to do this. I don't know if I love you. I don't know if I like you. I don't know if I, and that whole thing gets weird and messy, and it's like, as long as you're being safe about, like, we should be teaching more to me, like just you do it. Everybody ends up doing it, so just be safe about it. And here's how to do
things
that.
are more discussed and things are more out in the open and more clear, and there's, everybody's on the same. It's always better for all parties involved. And you're right, it's a taboo thing, especially for younger people, especially more so for girls,
young
because they're
girls.
brought up as being like, you're not supposed to talk. But so
And young boys, it's like, go get it, boy. You're 16 now, like, go for it.
the
And
girl
girls,
gets
it's
labeled
like,
more than the guy, right? So yeah, I
course.
get that.
Of course. And it's this weird thing that you're not even supposed to, like,
Right.
think about it. No, it's like not talk about it, not think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And look, it doesn't have to be like,
Yep.
let it all hang out. But I think if we just talk, especially in a safer place,
Right.
at home or with like a big sister, like something that like can be.
I never.
in that-
I don't know about you guys, but my parents never gave me the birds and the bee speech ever. I never heard one thing. I just figured it out. Did you get that? Did your parents ever sit you down and be like, "This is what
My
happens"?
parents were divorced like a little. I do it honestly. You want to know?
Yeah, I want to hear.
Like I feel like a week after I had sex the first time, my mom came in my room and was like, "Are you having sex?"
She knew,
I'm
dude.
like, what?
Mom
Like
intervention.
no, like no.
Mom
you're
intervention.
Mom, get
is a
out.
Real
He's
thing.
talking about with his pillow because you found his pillow all crusty.
Yeah.
Mama knows.
He's got a great story about we used to ask our male guest early on. We were always like, tell your virginity story. There was Todd Frazier. Todd Frazier's got a great one. He had sex with for the first time at a party in a room with a bunch of pigs, actual swine crazy.
Not the girls.
No, not the girls. Although the girl
we're
could have
not
been one too.
saying that.
Was this party in
This
Tom's
guy
River?
ran like 7 miles at like 3 a.m. to go lose his virginity. It's a great, and then hitchhiked home, got a ride home with a Mexican family. It's a great story. It's a great story.
This is true.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hey, switching up gears because that was
it, really.
That's
We
deep.
got
That
real
is deep, but
deep.
sort of on the same, I
But-
guess, vibe of sexuality. You guys are both actors. I mean, at times you must have to do romantic scenes, both of you, with
Yep.
other people.
Yep.
That has to be. Is that a conversation you have, or is that just that comes with acting? How does that?
No, we have
happen?
conversations.
You have conversations,
about it. and it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
romantic.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
It's anything but romantic.
Uh-oh.
No, like the act of it on screen is anything but
Oh, of
exciting,
course.
romantic, interesting.
It's like work. It's work.
It's beyond
awkward,
It's like
It's
work
embarrassing, man.
in like the worst. And everybody's gonna be like bullshit, and it's like no, it's literally there's at least it's a room like this. It's at least 'cause a lot of the times now it's like closed set.
I know your husband's sitting right next to you, but be honest. You're saying it would be awkward and it would be tough and it would be hard if it was The Rock or Danny DeVito. It's going to be the same for you? It's going to be the same?
I
Yes.
thought you say Brad
Yeah.
Pitt and somebody else.
No, but yeah,
It's going to be the exact same, really?
yeah. No, I mean, look, I'm not gonna say who I'm thinking of for either one. It could be Danny and it could be Dwayne, but one person might be like a little more imagination going to make it more believable, and the other one might be like, oh, okay, that part's a lot easier.
Making out with a penguin.
And but I've had to do that plenty of times where I've been like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna have to close my eyes and think about somebody else. But the act of like when you're actually there and you are exposed and it's literally
There's no sexuality to it, right? None. Yeah.
no, it's
Still though, have you ever been on set and had to witness this? That's got to be brutal as a husband.
Witness.
Any kind of romantic scene whatsoever?
no, but you
her?
got mad when I didn't warn you it was coming on.
Fuck yeah, I got
Because
mad.
you guys have been on a lot of
'cause
the
I
same
didn't-
stuff together.
Look, I'm still a dude from Jersey. Even you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
My man.
That's not
My
going
man.
anywhere.
My man.
I've been very fortunate because since we've been together, the guys that she has shared the screen with, that way, have actually become very close friends of mine at the same time.
My one friend Eltony, who I had, that was how we opened the show.
And Tucker.
on a show called If Loving Is Wrong, and we opened the show with us in a shed going at it. And it's
he
like
ended
the
up
first
throwing
30
me a
seconds.
bachelor party in LA.
Eltony threw his bachelor party when we in LA when we got married.
What, they
He
say
was the
keep
one
your
who did
enemies
it.
closer, right?
No, there's good
No,
dudes.
but he's a
I'm
great
joking,
guy.
I'm
And
joking,
then-
You know what they
I'm
do?
joking.
And then Jonathan Tucker played my husband on City on a Hill,
Yeah.
and we had a couple scenes. And when we first started working together, knowing these, we hadn't done them yet, knowing they were coming up. But when we went out to LA to go see them, he like bypassed me. And it was the first time they met. He just like was like, hold on. He's like, Kev, bro, like gave him a huge hug. And I was like, we're family now. Like he's like, I got to get to know him. And he was like, I'm not sitting near you. He literally was like, I'm not sitting near you. Move down because I got to sit near. I'm going to sit and talk
And
to
I had
Kevin
a lot of
tonight.
respect
I was
for that
like,
because I've done that.
okay.
I went out of my way in the same fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a respect. Like,
Well, I mean, you had a bedroom scene. You had
in the movie that we were in.
Well, no, the Bastard Sons. You had.
yeah, but we didn't do anything.
But there was
No,
nothing.
I know, but
You know?
is it the same for you? You just no big deal. You shut it out. You know.
She's a
it
lot
doesn't bother
easier
you?
going than I am about it.
A
lot,
because
You
it's,
understand the professionalism of it and doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because everybody says this too, and I don't know how to like make it any like compare it to anything to make it more understandable, but it's literally like it's like if you guys were all here and we just had to like get naked and just lay here and be like and pretend. It's not even actually doing anything. You're just sort of pretending.
You guys
Like-
know how it is on
And
set.
and it's also like
You're-
pretend like you're halfway in.
Right.
It's not just like,
Yeah.
oh, make out and now get into it, whatever. You have to be like, okay, and action, and like
yeah.
pretend that you're
Right,
like
right,
going
and
at
there's a
it
guy
for
right there
last
at the
10 minutes.
camera, like right there,
Yeah.
and the boom mic is like
Yeah.
right over your. It's just odd.
And then they yell
the,
cut, and the
silence.
hairdresser comes over to move your hair out of your face a little bit because it got a shadow, and then they're like spraying more sweat spray on you, which is just glycerin, and then they're like, hold on, the sheet came off, or your pasty is hanging off your boob now, so we have to fix that. It gets so weird, and he's in like a diaper. It
Wait, because they're not naked.
no,
right?
you have like a modesty cloth or something on. At least one of you does. And like
That's what they call it. That's the term, a modesty clause.
yeah, it's essentially for a guy, it's like a sock with like a thong that goes up your butt crack.
Wow.
And
I never wore that.
and sometimes there's for City on a Hill because it was 1992 that we were doing, so there was a huge meeting about this that I was not privy to, but it was a huge meeting.
You're gonna bring this up, aren't you?
Yeah,
Go ahead. This
that
is
was
good.
like listen, she wouldn't. It was 1992. Like nobody was waxing in 1992. And so how much of her were we going to see? And the director was a female director, thank God, and she was wonderful. And she was we had big long talks about how we were going to shoot this scene and do all this stuff, which they didn't. We shot this whole scene and they didn't show the sex part. Actually, shot the whole sex scene,
And then
they didn't. They cut to me like rolling away from each other and started talking, and we didn't even show the sex part. So we shot this whole thing. Whole nother story. So, but they had this whole meeting before we shot it, and I get a phone call, and they were like, I forget what they asked me. But in this phone call, and I was like, wait, what? And I get to set the next day, getting ready to do this scene, and was presented a merkin. And if you're not familiar with a merkin, it's like a toupee
Oh, wow.
for your groin.
Wow. Merkin.
A merkin.
Made in America.
And they either glue it onto you or you
Because-
can wear it like almost like a fishing wire string or something. But this is like it's
they
and it
want
can
it
be
to
your like
that-
It's
modesty thing.
authentic.
They wanted
Yeah.
that sense of realism in that
Because
movie.
they were like, if we go from this angle, we're gonna see that there's nothing there. And it was this was on Showtime.
But as an
What-
actor,
what was-
I mean, it's appreciated that they're
thinking
school of
on
thought
that
about it. I
level.
mean, yeah.
I'm
I
like,
don't know why
I
I'm drawing
appreciate
a
it.
blank. on
But
the
it
name
actually
of the
made me
movie,
feel
but the
better.
First one I remember was where the interrogation scene where she
Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct.
Basic
That's
Instinct.
the first time I remember.
Well, there's
seeing,
a whole story behind that
is there?
too that she just came out with not too long
Oh,
ago.
really? Let's
that
hear it.
she was told you wouldn't see anything, and she was told. Sharon Stone came out within the last year, I think, that she was like, "Yeah, no, hi, me too," because I was told by that director that nothing would be shown, that my white underwear was you have a big light like that one, like shining right out, and she was like, I was told that the white underwear I had on was reflecting too much light, and then I needed to remove the underwear, and that we were still just going to shoot it from like the skirt. We weren't going to show anything. And so that was shot.
I mean,
and she
it's a
didn't
funny one,
know,
though,
and she
'cause
didn't
it
see it
sort
until
of-
the premiere.
It sort of shot her into stardom.
And then and I think she even said that was
You
like
know?
it was this moment that
Yeah.
Yeah.
it made part of my career was like maybe the most
You know how
talked
many
about
times
actress.
I had to pause that to get the perfect angle?
We talked about actress. She's like, so it's like I think she had this weird like she never really told the story, and she never really got mad about it because it even though it was incredibly embarrassing and violating, I'm sure she was still just like, well.
But it looked like a brazen move for an actress to do at the time.
Yeah, right.
But
You
she
know,
was
and it was like,
directed-
wow, go.
She was
But how do you
directed
know
to
she
do
wasn't?
it.
Well, I mean, I guess you saw an interview she did, but she wasn't wearing a merkin.
Apparently not, because
Apparently not.
because that's made when
She
you
was
think you're going to see
full
something
pelt.
and whatever. It was just there. Well, that was
was
like what
trading for-
1980 something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And that was why 1992 they
what
were like,
everybody was
she's
doing.
not
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
shit. Like,
yeah.
oh, that's why they called me to be like, do you wax down there? Because listen, here's the conversation we're having. Like after they had, and I was like, oh my god, this is. They're like, look, we're gonna make you a merkin. I was like, okay,
Custom.
custom. And it actually made me. I don't think I ended up wearing it. I think we ended up being like, we're not gonna shoot from that angle, so we don't need it. But it was
Still
like.
got it. I'm
Dude,
losing.
dude,
I'm losing a little hair back here. I could wear it as a wig.
No, because I never wore it. I don't think I wore it. I think we put it on but then we were like, it's not going to be, I know, it's so weird. I think we realized it was going to like get in the way, or it was going to be like awkward between Tucker and I. It was like, this is going to get moved and be weird. Now we're going to have to worry about it. We're like, let's just scrap it and we won't shoot that way. And, but it was like, it almost made me feel a little more comfortable being like, oh, okay, it's not me. It's just the merkin.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
even if
yeah,
nobody
yeah.
knew that it wasn't me, it was like, it's just that's not me. Everything else you see. But
The girlfriend just got fake. She won't care. I don't think if I say this, got fake boobs. I don't know, last year or sometime. She's like, I feel like they're not even mine.
They're
I
just
feel
not
like-
me.
I feel like I just walk
They just
around.
show
They're not
everyone.
mine.
Yeah.
They're like somebody else's. I can just,
there's
you know what I
something
mean?
weird about
She's like,
yeah.
and she would never do that before. Not that she does now, but she's just like, I just feel like I can show them to my girlfriends because they're not even mine.
They're just
you know?
pretend.
Yeah,
It's not even
yeah,
real.
yeah.
And it's but there's when you're doing stuff like that, there's all these weird little things that come into play, and then I don't know. I feel like I remember there was a pilot that Kevin did when we first met, and it was I forget if you had a sex scene. I don't think you did. I don't think you had a sex scene in it, but you had to kiss you had to kiss this girl. And I didn't care. It didn't bother me. I was actually on set, I think, when that scene happened. Dirty Dead Common.
She's like, she knows the movie.
Yeah.
She knows the day.
This
She knows the
movie
weather.
that he was
She
doing.
knows the hour.
You had to kiss. I forget her name. You had to kiss her and Ione. And but I was on set, and that didn't bother me. We had just started dating like months before, and
Usually
just,
that's when you're most protected.
within
is
like
in the
6
beginning.
months,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, that didn't bother me. That didn't bother me. And then fast forward, we get to the end of that shoot. We're hanging out, and it's like literally the last scene of the movie, and he comes running out of this house, and it's this other girl that he has to run up to her, and like she's crying and freaking out, and he takes her by her face, and he's like, what, like, it's okay, and then he like, she's like, ah, and he pulls her in and she like buried her face into his neck, and I was like,
Oh, that guy.
That
Gotcha. Yeah.
was like, that's my spot. I was like, I'm like, kiss him all you want. I don't give a fuck. You don't get your face there.
We
That-
really
it
are
like-
There's my girl.
so different.
It was such a weird. I was like, why did that bother me? And it's true. And then when we shot Bed Frank, and you had to like go at it with Erin and all this, like it. And I knew her, and it was like, I don't want to be there, and I wasn't there on set when it was happening. And I've watched it, and it's just like, oh, what? It's not even like, oh wow, or there's literally nothing. I'm just like, that's happening. It
We
doesn't-
are really such different creatures, men and women.
Yeah, because
We're
I'm the
just
exact
such
opposite
different
with her.
creatures, yeah.
If I saw a dude on screen grab Amanda's face and really like, look into her eyes and with concern and care, I'd be like, what a chump.
But as soon as he tries to kiss her, you're like,
It's a
as soon
wrap.
as he's coming out.
It's like smashing the television.
But no, you've always been way better with it than I have, and
doesn't
that doesn't
bother
mean
me.
I'm bad
It's-
with it. I'm
Well, I mean, you
I
guys
get
are
it.
both in the industry, right? So you guys kind of know where you're coming from.
Well,
with
it gets
I mean,
specific with the girls, like very, very specific.
But you, Frankie,
know?
you're an actor now. You're an accomplished thespian.
You both
Let's
are,
say
man.
your next. I have a small
you go.
role, but I do.
Yeah, how do you
listen,
think Renee would
Oh,
react?
no.
I'm gonna say, what do you think would happen if
No
you
good.
next time you got a little
No
makeout
bueno.
scene? Do you run it by
I'll have to get
Renee?
fake lips.
There's
And another bed,
Do you know
man.
in Thor, I forget which one it is. I think it's the Dark World one where she goes to I just called it Ragnarok. Oh my god.
Asgard?
Asgard.
Yeah.
And I forget if either Natalie Portman wasn't there that day and they had to get this one shot, or if it was like a thing that they had worked out where Chris Hemsworth was like, or she had gone home for the day. I don't think it was a thing in his where he wouldn't kiss Natalie Portman, because obviously he does in like other parts. But there's a scene where he like kisses her in Asgard, and it's actually now I forget her name, his wife, who's an actress. Oh. And it was like it was mostly just her from behind, so they just kind of like put her, but Natalie Portman's costume on her, and it's actually his wife who he's making out with, and not Natalie Portman.
Well, when I did that commercial,
But there's
for
somebody
Fox,
else who had
yeah.
that like in a contract, who was like, like you have to. I can't kiss them. Like it either has to be my wife subbed in, or we can't kiss.
Yeah, the commercial. You were with the girl in the
Yeah,
commercial.
she was my wife
Oh.
in the movie or in the TV, and we had to hold hands. And yeah, Renee didn't like that.
That's
She was like,
great, dude. I love it.
I love
But that's I get it.
It was
It's like-
funny too, because this girl was an actress, and we're in the makeup room. She's like, "Oh," it's like, "Is your first time?" I'm like, "Yes." This is the first time I did anything. I'm like, "Yeah, it's the first time." She's like, "Did you have speaking part?" I'm like, "Yeah." I don't know. Oh my god. Like, oh shit.
We get to hold hands.
Yeah, it's definitely tough for someone that's not in the business to understand. I had
Yeah.
It is.
girlfriends.
Neil McDonough.
Neil
You guys-
McDonough, yeah.
You heard him?
Great
He's
actor.
been in some. He got blacklisted for like
because he won't do
years and
anything
years
with his
because
wife.
they refused to do anything romantic with any girl other than
His wife.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who it was.
But dude,
And he
Jim
was
Caviezel
blacklisted
was like
He's
that.
for a long time.
He's
Very
in
religious.
Suits.
Yeah.
He was in
He's a
Suits.
great actor too.
Oh, he's
great
awesome.
actor. Yeah.
Dobson's he's buddies with Dobson, man. They go way back.
Oh, sure. Of course.
He's actually on the
Dobson's
short.
that.
We'll talk about that. But, Jim Caviezel years ago, I remember he was in a movie with
Well,
Jennifer
he's very
Lopez.
religious too, right?
Yeah, and I think he refused to kiss Jennifer Lopez.
Look, I get it, and I think the sanctity of that is very good for you. Like that's great. Because I also don't think it's like, my wife's crazy and doesn't trust me or anything like that. I think there's certain people that are just like, there's a sanctity in my marriage that this is why I got married, because this is the only person I'm ever going to do that with. And I think if that is how it affects your job and your career, like there's no other career that's asking you to do that openly. But like, I don't know. I think if I didn't have somebody who at least understood, never mind we're in the same boat. You could have anything come up where you have to have or write your own sex scenes, which has happened now.
Well, I think
No.
I understand.
I never wrote my own sex scene.
Bad Frank.
That was already written. I rewrote it.
He didn't write it out.
It was originally just one girl. It was a threesome. When he was
Fair enough. But it would be super weird to be like,
Well, I think like in you guys have an understanding in Neil McDonough's situation. He's a very religious guy,
Right.
But I think that he can't cry. Blacklisting is one thing. I think that's crazy. But
Yeah, I don't know
like if
about
it was a movie that has a scene in it, you shouldn't read for that movie because you've made a choice, right? So if he misses out on some
Yeah.
movie roles, that's his
the
choice.
Yeah.
right?
But I mean, what if it comes down to which a lot of choices come down to in our lives, careers, money. You're hard up. You got to pay
He
the
said
mortgage.
he started
every day.
drinking a
It's like-
lot. I remember seeing a short little interview. Became depressed because he couldn't get a role when he started drinking a lot, and then he just made a resurgence recently, and he's been in a bunch of stuff. But he's a great actor.
Oh, he's been
a great actor.
Years, man.
Yeah.
Years. He's always played a heavy. And to turn down a role, I mean, imagine being in that position, if you felt strongly about that and it's like, well, they're going to pay $150,000 for 3 days.
But I mean,
4 days
obviously,
worth of
you
work.
would get the
It's like,
script in advance, and if you saw that was part of it, you can't. I don't think, in fairness, you could ever ask a director or a writer to change a scene just for you. You just have to decline that.
no, but we
could.
had
You
scenes.
could.
We had what am I saying? Conversations about City on a Hill, because I think I got the script, or was it when I got my nudity writer?
when you told me what was going on, this
what
is
did you
my
say?
deal. on it.
Nudity rider?
Nudity rider.
Yeah. So when you sign on to a project that, I mean, Showtime, it's like, yeah, you're you're on Showtime. You know what you're signing up for. Like you could show anything, say anything, do whatever. And so you have in your contract that you are going to show that. I mean, you could do it down to like, I will show my left nipple, but not my right nipple. I will show you. You don't get to see
it's a contract.
pubic hair. You can put it in your contract when you're signing on as like when I was presented a series regular contract. It's part of it,
specific?
like,
Very
and you can get
specific,
super specific. You
And
can
with the vagina, but not the butthole.
But it also gets
Butthole's
specific on where
Right.
the other person's hands may go.
Yeah.
Really?
And
You
that's where
can.
I'm like, no, let's talk about this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
You know
You
what I mean?
can. I mean, look, especially nowadays, it's like nobody's ever. There's intimacy coordinators that are there on set.
Is that all
like,
for legal reasons? So that
it's
nobody's
since
sued or...
since Me Too happened.
Yeah,
It's
right.
it was a thing prior to that. But there's since Me Too, it's almost become like a standard. It's like always somebody's there. I've not had an intimacy coordinator yet. I don't think. I mean, other than like the director who was like, "This, it's okay if she does this." It was like, "Yeah, we're all going to talk about it, and it's fine." But then, yeah, you're allowed to fully say
that's
like,
a full-time job on set for somebody in intimacy.
If there's-
I can't even say the word.
yeah, even if there's just kissing,
It's like, what do they get paid?
even if
They
there's
come
just
out with me this
kissing,
weekend. I need some help in that department.
You can have
They-
you can request an intimacy coordinator on set, even if
Alright.
you have to like
They'll come to the club with me
somebody.
this weekend.
Yeah.
They'll help me out. All right.
help
think
you
it's a
out.
good idea.
It's not romantic
What
at all.
about what if it's
not
like
fun.
a solo scene?
I got that handled.
Honestly,
I got that handled.
it's probably
where are
probably
they?
there for
Where are
the
they
two.
around? Where are they around
Because it's-
10:30? They available?
It's protecting how far the director's going to ask you to go.
Sure.
It's a good idea.
It's-
It's a good idea. I've been on set a couple times in those scenes, and I could feel the director snaking around trying to get more out of the female to reveal more. Like, I could feel that. I was pretty uncomfortable. And one time doing a short film years ago, I stepped in. I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you
it's
know,
like
my big thing with those scenes is this: is like
Well,
you're not going to
do you
win.
think that, like, why do they want that? Does it hold that much weight in a film? Like
Well,
nudity?
sex sells,
Yeah.
obviously, right?
Sex sells.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yeah,
Yeah.
skin sells. So the more of it, the better. But
Yeah.
you don't. My big thing is.
I was telling Frankie, we were talking about like early movies that like splash for me. I was like, that was
Yeah.
the first movie where I can remember like, oh, I might see a boobie. I might see,
Yeah, man.
you know, Daryl
Yeah.
Hannah. She had the hair over.
Yeah.
She
Yes.
played the mermaid. Like I was like, I got those warm fuzzy feelings. I was probably like 10 years old.
right. You're like,
But they had
"Ooh."
so many like exploitation films in the 70s and 80s. It was just like
Well, the
women
Sharon
bearing
Stone
their
thing we were just
breasts.
talking about,
Yeah.
where he's like, "Oh, just take those
Porky's.
off, just because."
Porky's.
Like,
Dude.
Porky's,
Yeah.
yeah, where he's staring through the peephole.
Yeah.
That's like a fucking crime if you did
Right.
that now.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I
And-
just never thought that a sex scene in a movie was like the determination if an Oscar's oh my god, an actor's gonna win an Oscar or not. Like I was like, all right, you do it and you just get through it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not something to like totally invest your time in and totally do this. For the female, it's way more touchy and way more stuff going on than the male. Way more. There's one movie I saw that I was like, wow, this sex scene is like pulling me in. And the performance wise, it was called Unfaithful with Diane Lane
I was
and
just gonna say
Richard
Diane
Gere
Lane,
back in the day.
Richard
You guys
Gere.
ever see that?
Which one? Yeah, I did see that.
I was like,
Killed the dude. With
wow,
the,
yeah.
the, snowball.
Yeah. And she was like she was cheating on him with this dude.
Yes.
And I was like, I mean, the whole film is revolving around this, right?
the affair, right? the
But it was
sexual
so
affair.
tastefully done. The camera was not like focused on the boob. It wasn't like that. It was just, and it was so intense that I was like, wow, this makes sense. But for the most part, other things, if there's a sex scene written into a show or a movie, it's like you get through it and continue on with the story. You're not going to win an actor for how good you do a sex scene. Like you're just not. You know what I mean?
No, and it's
You
And
just get
then
into it,
it's-
you act it, and
Unless
then
you're
go.
in porn.
Unless you're in porn.
Unless, and you can win a lot.
And you
of
got the
awards
AVNs.
for that. a lot of.
I think they have some porn award show. I see it on the
The
billboards on the side of the turnpike once a year. They have something in Jersey.
Those are huge.
Yeah, for
Really?
some
Didn't,
porn
didn't
show.
Halle
yeah.
Berry win an Oscar in Monsters
Ball.
Ball, and now she had a sex scene in that.
And that
right?
was the first time that she was topless in something, and that's
I
when
forgot
everybody
about
was
that.
like, "Oh, just take your top off and you win an Oscar." And it was like it was, but
She
it was
was
like
great.
this
That
dumb, degrade. Yeah, it's like
She's
shut up.
great
It's
in
her
that movie.
performance.
Yeah.
She's incredible,
Yeah.
and And then it became this big like thing. I was like, oh, show your tits and you'll get an Oscar. But it's not true.
I take it back. I forgot about that. The sex scene in that movie was like character revealing, right? Mm-hmm. With Billy Bob Thornton and everything. I mean, that was like powerful, dude.
But that's why she did it too. Like you're not nobody's ever going like, oh, cool, a sex scene. That's exciting to do. It's like, no, it's when you're on a level. Yeah. And that's why we talked about the stuff that I was going to do. And it was like, this is the scene that never got shown, but the aftermath of it did. You still see everything. It's like, it was important because it was this couple on the brink of like their lives exploding and falling apart, but they were having this very real moment to get like, it's just normal married life and having this normal conversation that surrounds it. It was like a fly on the wall sort of scene that was very important, I thought, to like the base level of these two people. We were also the only sex scene in the entire thing other than Kevin. But it was to me, it made sense. Like, it wasn't just gratuitous. It like made sense to be in there and to be completely naked. That was the other thing too. It was like, well, can't you request, I think you had said, like, can't you be in a tank top or something, or can't you be whatever? And I was like, it's kind of important that these two people are completely naked, exposing everything to each other. And when you look at certain sex scenes in like Monsters Ball and things like that, yeah, it's like it creates a world that would, if it was like, why is she in a tank top, it would make it weird.
Just texting the girlfriund now, I'm an actor now, so she's going to have to understand.
You're just going to have to understand.
Just hit send, there we go. Should be all cool.
But I promise you. I mean, you guys you've been on set now. You've been in front of a camera. Like, you turn that camera on and like all of a sudden everything in your body goes like, like, oh man, like this is different.
Oh yeah.
When you got a camera up and you have lines that you gotta know to say and get on a mark, it's different. And then make sure you're only humping her 3 times before you roll her over, and make sure her hair doesn't get in her face, and make sure you're not putting, you don't move your hand from the side of her breast, but don't touch her breast. And all, like, it's so
sounds like Saturday night.
Awkward. And then you have to like pretend like you're enjoying it, and this person might have like bad breath, BO, be just like totally weird offset. Like
Dobson told me a great story one time. We were shooting a film together in LA, not to cut you off, but there's an actress that couldn't stand cigarette smoke, and he had to do a kissing scene with her. Every time they yelled cut in between takes, he's sitting there, he's like sucking down Marlboro Reds just to go back in and make out with her. And I was outside. It was actually in a camper. And then great gal, Kristen, did the scene with him, and she came out and she was like, ah. I was like, what's wrong? She's like, he just keeps smoking. Like, I can't stand it. I can't do this anymore. He comes out like he just won a trophy, you know? He's like all happy and cracking up.
That's funny.
Yeah. I heard stories about actors like chewing garlic and everything before they got a kissing
what,
scene.
Just to
like mess with each other, because it's the most awkward thing in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
And so if you can make it like funny or like
it's like
whatever,
it eases the tension.
It's the second somebody cracks a joke, it's like you can't help but just start like crying because it's so awkward and tense.
I wonder if porn's got to be like that, right? Gotta be pretty fucking awkward.
I'm like, I don't know.
Frank's like, right, guys? Like,
I'm just saying, right? Tell me that's not awkward. Still pretty awkward.
I mean, I'm sure for
like they're not really into each other.
I would think the people that have been doing it for years and years, the MILFs in the game, probably it's second fiddle to them. But I would assume early in your career, there's probably a lot
no matter
of
what,
moments,
dude, it's. Okay, hang on. So we get the still. You know what I mean? It's got to be fucking pretty awkward.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not. I feel like maybe if you had lines to do while you're like, if you had to like, I guess, right? If you had like a scripted,
there's
porn that you have
very redundant
shaving
lines.
Ryan's privates.
Shaving Ryan's privates.
That's great. That's a great one.
And then you got to be like, make some super awful script sound, like get it out of your mouth before you. Oh God, no.
All right, question: If and when we do the sequel for Bastard Sons, and there was a scene for each of you where you had to make out with a girl, would you be able to do it?
No.
Frankie?
Well,
no,
Frankie
no,
wouldn't.
Frankie,
Frankie wouldn't.
Frankie
He
hands down,
comes and
Frankie
drives
would
away.
listen.
If I wanted
This
to
is
have
the
a
man.
home
This is the man right here. This is the man that always says, "I'm not facing challenges. Challenges. If it's a challenge and it's challenging myself, I'm gonna do it. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Mostly to see if you're gonna live. When
Yeah,
you-
that'd be a challenge. Head movement's not that good.
No.
You
Geez.
just have to cast Renee as an extra.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I'd probably be single again, but
It's so funny, man. I remember before I moved to LA, I had a
you guys have been
girlfriend
in
here.
it so
We-
long.
right,
You're
been
so
in it.
Yeah,
understanding of it.
I forget how
We've
how
dabbled
weird it
in
is
it.
to
There's a
other
big
people.
difference. You know what I mean?
To us, it's like whatever. Now.
Yeah, you've never been put in that position.
Yeah. This is like old hat to you guys.
It is a strange. I will say it is a strange dynamic to get into a situation. You play bad guys a lot. You don't play like I'm like a nice married guy.
Be like
So it's
asking you,
different for
Kevin,
you.
to go jump in a UFC ring. That would be awkward for you. You know.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
Yeah, it
to
would.
show up and like to be like, hi, this is Jonathan Tucker, and you have to be married to him for like your whole life.
Yeah,
Like,
but
this
he
is-
made it so much easier, man.
Well,
I
he
mean,
did, but it's like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. I don't even know, like, nice to meet you. And yes, he is this just charismatic, wonderful guy who has become a very good friend of ours now. But it is a little bit like you walk away sometimes being like, I like him, but not like that. You have to like your body's going like, oh, I do, I like you, but then you're like, your brain's like, shut up, no, you don't. You're just pretending to because you're saying lines, and it is a weird dynamic. But that's why I think people get so close on sets. Like you hear that all the time. Like the sets, everybody just become. You guys probably felt it too. Like you're there all the time, and you're going through this thing that you're just like, I'm having a great time, but like.
Yeah.
I'm like really close with everybody all of a sudden.
You're in on something together.
I was nervous as shit. So when I filmed my little scene, I showed up like way early because I knew if I got to know everybody there, I'd feel more. So I was like hours early. I was like
Right.
shaking hands, meeting people, and I was like, all right, these guys are cool guys, you know.
And then all of a sudden
Made me
it's the
feel-
last day
yeah,
and you're like,
right,
man, I'm never going to,
right,
oh no.
Exactly.
And like, and I feel like that's to me why you hear about people having affairs or having like these things, because that line gets crossed by your brain alone, because suddenly you find yourself being not even sex, it's just intimate in energy, in like crossing that line of like being close and having these like, you know, staring into each other's eyes and saying these really deep, meaningful things to each other. And then they yell cut and you go like, fuck, what just happened? Whoa. And that line gets crossed and you could be like super confused about it, and then people take it too far.
Was that what they call method acting? Because you're supposed to be
No,
the part, right?
Right. And well, yeah, maybe part of it's method, like, I'll just go home with you instead of my husband. That sounds great.
Oh yeah, true. Because method acting
Method is like you don't shut off.
You take it home,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
all
that's
the
right.
way.
Take it
That's
home,
right. That's
and
right.
you live as
Yeah.
you know, like Daniel
That
Day-Lewis was
character,
like,
right.
I am Abraham
Right,
Lincoln
right,
everywhere
right,
he went.
right.
That's
And,
crazy. How could people do that?
That is
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
If you are allowed to do that.
if
Like
you
I
yeah.
am not allowed to do that right
Right.
now. No, actually, I take that back. If I was on set, removed from my normal life to see my cute little kid, my loving wife, you know what I mean? My mom call me, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like in the morning, like yeah, you literally have to
Easter's
remove
early this
yourself.
year. Where are we going for Easter? Like,
Yeah,
it's
you
like-
have to really remove
wait, what?
yourself from it, and it sucks. And if you get a role that you can focus on, and you're away in a hotel because it is totally isolated, and you can kind of sit in that for a while, as an actor, man, it's just it's bliss.
Yeah.
It's awesome. There's nothing like
Just
it.
to totally entrench yourself.
Well, that's the whole thing, you know what I mean? So you those moments are fleeting because not all roles welcome that. Someone can say, "Oh, you're a method actor." We're like, "Well, I just did like a FBI the other day, and it was just like informal." Yeah, I saw a blue van or down the street there, license plate BXT 5000. Okay, well, who was the guy? Mustache. Just said, "Okay, thanks, we're on it later." Boom. What's method about that? You're just delivering information.
you're
So,
like saying-
to say you're a method actor, that's hard to say.
has to be a pretty sophisticated
It's like
role.
you get the role,
Yeah.
and some roles require you to jump in, and then some actors are able to do it.
Some
and
get
actors
lucky
are
enough
not.
to be able to. Yeah,
It's a luck of the draw, and every now and then it happens. I've been fortunate several times to be able to jump in.
I've been method acting at Donnie's. I haven't stopped.
Yeah, Donnie
I
Mac.
started before it too. I don't know how it happened.
Donnie Mac.
Kind of was made for you. Kind of was.
So that's method acting, man. That's really, it's a joy, it's a treat, and if you're able to do it, like they talk about Daniel Day-Lewis and whoever else, I'll tell you what, that guy's got some He must have set up his home life.
Well, he
But
said
what
he
imagine
thanked his
coming
wife.
home when he played the butcher.
Yeah.
Yo,
And,
the butcher, dude. I mean, name
yeah.
it, all
Yeah.
of them though.
But
Yeah.
he
that
went-
one, he's a maniac.
And he
He
went
went
and
home to
studied.
that?
Yeah, he
I
thanked
think
his
you
wife in
hold
his
on
Oscar
to it.
speech, and he was like, "You've been, married to Abraham Lincoln and this one and that one." And then she's like, "Yes, I have."
Yeah.
Like she's just sitting there nodding her head, like, "Yep." And it's not necessarily like you go home and start throwing
No,
knives
you don't
at your
start
wife.
declaring the Declaration of Independence, but
But
it's like you hold on to something.
there's like-
you just do,
There's a pattern of speaking or
Right,
holding yourself or walking or she maybe would call she in respect would be like Abraham or Mr. President. I don't know. Like maybe that is what it was. But
But how do you do that? See, to me, it's a lot of it's farce.
with kids, how do you?
How do you know?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hang
listen,
on to
so and so just got into a fight in school today. Are you
almost
gonna
have
pull
to
this shit, or are we
separate
gonna be like a
yourself.
real man and handle it?
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's where I draw the line with actors.
Yeah.
There's a big selfish aspect of it too, and it's like I'm talking about a
It's a
man
different
now.
artistry. It's a completely different artistry.
Yeah, it's like for a
there's-
male actor, are you going to be a man and handle your family business and all that stuff too, or are you going to just sit in character and let your wife handle it?
Yeah, right.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's not right.
There are certain roles that almost you almost think like almost warrant it. Like was it Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker? Like how do you turn that off? Being that
Right.
guy, you almost got to be like that
isolation,
all the
brother.
time,
Bro,
right? Yeah.
You got to be
that
isolated.
laugh.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they said.
You
Broke
gotta be isolated.
Heath Ledger a little bit.
Another one,
Started
another
his
one, yeah.
thing where he was just working so much and so enraptured by like this character and these thoughts and these things, and he was just like not sleeping and all these things. It was kind of like what?
Spiral, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
It bites you. You know,
It's-
what
yeah.
Josh, Larry's friend Josh Pius was
yeah.
on set with him, and he
Pace.
was talking about him, and he said, on set it was light. It was like they were playing.
With
it
Joaquin.
wasn't. No, I'm sorry, with Heath Ledger.
No, Josh was with Joaquin, wasn't he?
He was
He was
talking
like
about
the
Heath Ledger.
manager.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was talking
was
about
with
Joaquin, right? Yeah, but he said he was just light and kind of playing around. When you sit in it long enough, it's like a switch. But you have to have isolation because any kind of impetus, any kind of stimulus from outside pulls you out of it. Yeah. So if you're in your hotel room,
Yeah.
Well,
if
think
you're
you just
walking-
mentioned it too, having a child. That you can't be you have to be daddy. You know what I mean?
So he'd
I
say, like,
it's almost like you have to seclude yourself.
it's like for
if you're
5
gonna do
hours,
that.
baby, I'm gonna be on my own. I'll hit
Yeah.
you up when I'm,
Well, playing
That's
Kathy
it.
on City and Hill, I played Kathy Ryan, and it was this, very Boston, 1990s Boston, the wife of a mobster and whatever, and it was not me. She lives in there somewhere, but it wasn't. And I, for the longest time, the first season, I was like coming home, and still like I couldn't break out of the
Boston
accent.
accent?
Sometimes
Yeah,
it would
yeah, yeah.
still like be coming out. I also had acrylic nails on for the whole first season, so I was talking.
Yeah.
A lot of times I was doing a lot of this, and he'd be like, "Stop doing this." So there's something.
All right, Kathy. All right,
But it was.
Kathy.
But the weird part, I had my daughter while we were on hiatus between season 1 and 2, and then I went back to work when she was like 2 months old, and shot like 2 or 3 episodes, and then we got shut down with COVID, like a month in, and so those first couple, I was in such a weird blur. She was still 2 months old. I was like, I have to go pump. Like, what's happening? Like, it was just getting back to work and getting my feet underneath me, and it was I had quick little scenes in those first 2 episodes, so it was fine. And then we got shut down for COVID, so it was like 10 months later we went back to work. And I remember doing this scene, and Christoph was our director. I forget which episode it was in. And he was like, "Can we talk for a second?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What's up?" I was like, "What do you mean, what's up?" Like, what happened? Like, oh my God. And everybody's like, "That scene was amazing. Like, move on. Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes." And all of a sudden he's like, "What's going on with you?" And I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Where's Kathy?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like doing this scene in this weird perspective of like being a mom now. And I wasn't doing it with her. I was like, "Oh my God, that's right. I'm fucking Kathy Ryan. Like, wait a minute. I need to go after this girl. Like, I need to talk to her, not beg from her." Like, I was like, whoa, that's right. And it changed. I was like, whoa, this kid has changed everything. Like, I forgot this character that I've been doing for 2 years. I completely let it go and was like not even thinking about her anymore. So yeah, it's definitely.
Did you have to work on like a Boston accent, like at home, or do you just you're good at that? Because you're good at the Jersey stuff. You're from Rhode Island.
I'm from Rhode Island.
I know people are like, well, she should be. She's from Jersey. No, she's from Rhode Island.
And it's different. Rhode Island's a lot lazier than Jersey and New York and whatever. It's just kind of like everything flows into each other, and there's no Oz and there's no whatever. But then Boston's a little harder than
there you go.
Rhode Island is.
Yeah,
Boston it's harder. It's like there's rounded out, like you'd say, like what's your problem?
Yep.
Like there's things like that there's a hardness to it, and then New York is even harder than Boston in a different way. Now
Frankie's got a great Virginia. You want to give him a little of your Virginia? He's got a
Virginia?
Great Virginia. Great.
No.
like Roanoke.
No, this guy puts me on this fucking thing all the time.
Did. One time he did like the who was it, the governor?
I think it was the governor talking about aborting babies past
12 months.
Birth.
Yeah.
Past like they say, we take the mother, we make her comfortable, and we deliver the baby, and then we decide what to do with the baby after. Yeah. Pretty crazy.
When you
This
do
was
it
real.
like that,
But that
it
was
sounds
pretty
super
good.
creepy.
And the way he sounded like that.
Yeah.
We take the baby, we make the
Oh my
baby
God, don't say
comfortable. Yeah.
Jeez.
No,
That's my
that was really
Virginia.
good though.
That was bad.
Yeah, not bad, Frank. Interior, Frankie walks to a bar.
Yeah.
There you go.
Frankie,
You can make
Frankie,
Frank
do a
go
tough
undercover.
guy from Jersey. Do a tough guy from Jersey.
Fuck you, fucking talking to him, buddy.
My man. That's what I was hoping you were going to say. That's what I was going to hope you were going to say.
Bro, did you read any of those in there?
It's like 5 words in the whole book.
No, 5 words. They're all. Dude, can I got
Just open it.
I'm gonna read one.
Like sayings, right?
I'm gonna read.
Yeah.
Who is
listen,
this?
They're all the same. It's our guy Robert Frank. He's actually great.
He's
great
great,
guy.
man. I got to be pretty good friends with
On
him. He's
Sunday, we do arms. Because if you want a chick named Margaret draining your beef hose in the back of a Target, your arms better be fucking swole.
So I don't know if you ever saw it. He went quite viral
I don't
about.
know what that means.
He went.
Listen.
Go ahead.
On Monday, we do chest. Because if you want to give a chick a Baltimore brownie in the back of her Audi, your pecs better be fucking swole. Fun fact, according to Urban Dictionary, a Baltimore brownie is when a guy takes a shit on a chick's head, then proceeds to ejaculate on the shit. Who thinks of this shit?
Yo, did you see? Did you
What
see?
the hell is this?
Did you see that he did like an Instagram post
God.
that he's like, look, I gotta admit, I know I talk all this crazy stuff, but he's like, I used to date a girl back in the day that used to want me to shit on her chest.
Yeah.
He's like, I used to do it to this girl. I'm sorry.
No.
I know it's good. Yeah, he's a good dude.
What was the movie we just watched with Jennifer Aniston where she's like,
Oh, the bosses, horrible bosses.
yes, and she's like, what did she say? He's like, I just have to go to the restroom, and she's like, oh. What did she say?
okay.
She's like number 1 or number 2,
Oh,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah,
whatever. And she's like, save me a sprinkle or something. I was like, wait, what? I was like,
Wasn't
what?
that Amber Heard and Johnny Depp? Wasn't she like
yeah,
shit?
no,
Well,
she
that was
shit
revenge.
bad.
That was
Yeah,
revenge.
yeah.
That was revenge.
Yeah.
That wasn't. That was.
That wasn't sexual. Okay.
That was not sexual.
But
I don't know.
this guy's great.
Wait,
there was
can I see who?
There was a comparison to Amber Heard and Johnny Depp and the Danny Masterson story, in that they were similar, right? Like she accused him of rape, and they said it was a case of like public. The public
Wait, who
loved
accused who of rape?
Amber Heard accused Johnny Depp of rape,
Okay.
and big court case. It was all televised, whatever. But he was beloved. Like the public loved him.
But I don't think she was suing. I thought he was suing her, right?
For
That was
defamation.
Defamation, yeah.
well, she had originally sued him.
But wasn't held.
I
Right?
forget. You gotta
No,
look.
she won.
Andrew, can you look that up?
She won the case in
One,
the UK.
one was in the UK, which I believe she won that case, correct?
and that's when he took it back
To
home
Vir-
and was
Virginia, I think, right? Yeah.
like, you got to go over there and say all these things about me that weren't true.
Right,
Won the case
right.
or not? Now I'm going to take you home
Right.
and I'm going to prove
Right.
you
And all their
that it's all
dirty
bullshit.
laundry got aired out.
Yeah.
But I believe she accused him of rape in there somehow. I could have that wrong. Look that up, Andrew.
I forget if it was.
But he won over the crowd, basically. Like he was a very likable character in the courtroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was joking. He was, remember
Yeah.
that he kept.
well,
like,
and his team was.
he
It's
kept.
just whoever made the
On
memes
point.
won.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
the
man.
meme. They had the better memes. Right?
Well, he had the better defense
it
team.
was a big glass
or
of
whatever it
wine.
was, whatever
Yeah,
the
like
A
offensive
big glass
team.
of wine.
She right, but she like that girl. What was her name?
Amber
The
Heard?
lawyer.
Oh,
No, the
yeah,
lawyer.
yeah.
She was
Supposedly they were hooking up at the end of
on
that.
point. That was the like.
Was that the rumor?
Everybody
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
to think that.
Yeah.
But she was on point. I watched so many clips of that and like entire things of her, and she was just like, nope, nope, nope. Hold on. Oh, okay. Here's what I have. And then her team's like, "Moo," and they were like scrambling to look for things and making mistakes. And she's the poor thing is sitting. She's like, oh my god, this is it. I'm done.
Crazy thing about them is like they're both actors.
Yeah.
It's just that Johnny Depp's a lot better actor. You can tell,
Well,
if they're both performing,
Right.
it didn't look like Johnny was performing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It looked like she was performing to me.
I think that's just a twisted case of two people that are
Probably
like,
both nuts.
we're just
Yeah,
not in
yeah,
good places,
yeah,
and
yeah.
was a toxic mix of nope.
How old is Deb's daughter? I'm sorry, dude. I keep pulling this. How old is Deb's daughter?
She's 30 something now.
No way.
She's got to be 30.
30s. Nah.
25
All right, let's
at
just
the
say
most.
20,
She's
25,
yeah.
Right? She's 24. So if
Aren't
24,
aren't they replacing his character
I'm thinking of
as
because
Jack
she's
Sparrow
doing-
with a woman? They're replacing, I believe, the new Disney.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to do really well.
it's a woman. I believe
that's done if they do that.
And
That's
it-
like
and
one of the
it's
most
like,
iconic
I
characters.
believe-
ever.
Is it going to be Jack Sparrow or is it?
Yeah,
gonna
she's going to be Captain Jack Sparrow,
Jackie
and I believe
Sparrow?
it's like
Jacqueline.
an actress who's been in nothing anybody's ever heard of. I believe. First of all, what did I ask you to look up about the
How-
case? Did she accuse him of rape? Which I thought maybe not, or essay. No, can't find it. No good.
What did she?
Where's our big screen?
It might have been in the UK trial that happened.
I could be wrong. I
forgot.
don't know. I read that on a blog today somewhere that when I was looking Danny Masterson up, that the people were
blog,
doing
huh?
people were doing the compare. Yeah,
Guys in the blogs.
I do my homework, buddy. I don't show up unprepared like you and an hour late.
A blog.
But
I don't got a cushy job
they
like
were
him.
they were doing the comparison between the Danny Masterson case and his case, and how he really did a lot better. Johnny Depp did much better, especially in the public persona, because he's a very likable character, essentially.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
weird.
Okay, Frank. Sorry.
No, I didn't know there were still blogs like out there.
you just gave him the door was on its way to close, and you were like, hold
Floor is
up,
yours, Frank.
kick that back open.
Frank, what do you want to say about Roger again? Before I cut you off. So if Depp's daughter was that age, right? 20, 25, whatever it was, and you see your father or your mother going through something like this before the courts.
Well, it's not her mother, stepmother.
I'm just saying in general.
if she would even call her
if
that.
your child is watching you go through all that stuff, or you're watching your mother or father going through that, wouldn't you step in?
Well, no.
No?
I think there was a thing where he was like, stand down. I think there was a thing
Oh,
about
you said
it.
The kid was.
How could a kid
involved
just-
She didn't
around
if the dad-
him.
if Jeff was
he
going
like,
that
stand down
crazy.
because well, she was
A grown
old enough to
woman?
like be
Yeah, old enough to be like, Dad, fuck this bitch.
Yeah.
And do you think he was in his right mind?
It's still her dad, right? Mine
And
or
do you
not.
think right? So
You know
do you
what I
think? Okay, maybe she did say that. Do you think he was like, oh, okay, good advice, 20-year-old kid?
I don't know. I have no idea.
And who even knows if like she was probably like later if that's who you're gonna be with, then I'm out. There was like because there was things that he said that she was doing in front of his kids and the little boy.
I
and
feel
all
like in
that.
that world, in that Hollywood world, I mean, kids grow up so
That's the
fast.
thing.
She was probably out on her own
Back
by
to
the
the
time
LA
she's
thing.
16 or something.
There's
right?
stuff that's just
emancipated,
so
and
normal.
It's
or
a
you
crazy
hear
world.
about it's
that
like
world,
oh
yeah.
having my best friend's parents too, and it's just like what we deal with, and it's just like things are just normal out there that are not.
Yeah, it's not a normal world.
No,
Anyway,
no, it's a different set of rules and
it's
things that are
so
there.
fast moving. It's
It's normal to them.
Yeah,
For them,
right,
normal.
right.
Totally fine. Like ShopRite's not normal. Going to the Wawa to
Right.
get like a cup of coffee is not is like what? You didn't get a Starbucks? Like it's not normal. Like that's they would be like, that's so weird. And we're like, that's fucking weird. But it's everything's perspective. Everything's
Yeah,
like
true.
I guess
you
it's
do what
about
you gotta do and
what
we do
you
what we
want,
gotta do.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want that. I know I wouldn't want that.
Yeah. It's like it's
We
talking about it
in your
interesting
bed?
to be a part of.
No, I would rather. I mean, it's easy for me to say because it's not offered to me, so obviously it's easy for me
Right.
to say. But rather than that level of fame and stardom and money and all that, I enjoy just my fucking slow paced life with my kids. I like it. You know what I mean?
I'd like a Lamborghini.
Little Lambo.
Little Lambo. Yeah.
Right? Fuck your kids.
But what are you willing to sacrifice for the Lamborghini?
We talk about how Gemma. I'm sure you guys think about your kids and everything, and there's certain elements of being in a limelight in our lives, and it's like, we didn't grow up like that, and from a kid's perspective, Amanda and I, say for example, we audition in our house, so we have a backdrop, set the camera up, which is the phone on the tripod, and you do it, and we got to do it when Gemma's not home, but sometimes Gemma has been home, and it's cute, she jumps in, but it's like, here's mommy and daddy like doing this scene in front of her, playing different people, getting emotional, yelling. Obviously the older she gets, she's going to understand more, and we're going to feel more comfortable with her. Who knows? Eventually she's going to start reading with us.
I'm going to be like, here, can you read these signs with me? Because
Like,
daddy's not home. Like,
daddy's going to curse now. Don't do it. Fuck you, motherfucker. And I start getting into everything, and
Yeah, we don't do those in front of her.
and it's like we think about like, all right, so we're both actors, we're artists, and it's like how different her upbringing is from ours
like
was.
a,
or both.
trucker and a school teacher,
But we
and
try
a
to be
school
as-
teacher and a construction worker. Like,
As long as you're involved in their
Contractor.
life,
Yeah.
then everything's gonna work out. It's when you get so wrapped up in it, you become uninvolved.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, well,
happens-
that's what you hear
which
about all
happens
these
with a lot
people.
of mainstream.
And you hear
actors,
about all these
obviously.
people that are from out there that have kids and they start their family, and then all of a sudden, like,
A
they
nanny
bought a
raises
ranch
them.
in Idaho,
Yeah.
or they or they leave to go raise their kids like in a
Oh,
like different environment.
Right.
oh, that happens.
Oh
Yeah, very often. I mean, you don't have to be
Especially
in the
now.
hubs anymore.
I mean, they've been doing
You
that
just don't
for
have
like
to be
years and
there,
years, but
you know?
it's like, yeah, no, you don't
We could
have
live in-
to live there.
We can live anywhere right now and put ourselves on tape, audition if we get the part, we just fly out. But no, on a serious note, I do commend both of you. It's great seeing, even in your social media, you put stuff about your kids and everything, and it's a unique lifestyle they have because their parents are known. You know what I mean? It's a different thing than what we grew up with. You know?
Yeah.
And I think about it from their perspective. It's like,
Yeah,
our
it's
dads
never.
just-
Well, it's
our
never
moms-
not going to be part of their lives. It's
Right.
just a part. It's ingrained in everybody.
think it's normal.
It's normal. Gemma's been making, in her own mirror, making tutorials. I do a makeup tutorial since she was like 2.5. Like doing, because she like saw one on my niece's thing. My niece is 4 years older than her, so she's it's like in that, having like an older kid, it's like harder to keep the little one away from being exposed
Sure,
to different
yeah,
things. So
of
she's
course.
known about little kid makeup tutorials since she was like 2 years old. So she'll sit in her little mirror with her like play makeup, and I'm like, wait, and she's like, first I had to do this, and she's like, I'm like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? She's like, I doing a makeup tutorial, like a makeup tutorial. Oh, okay.
But
Like,
didn't your daughter do something like that?
She's done a bunch.
Right.
yeah.
So I remember showing Gemma, your daughter, on Instagram. I'm like, look at Rodney's
She's into
daughter.
makeup. Listen, I'm a dude. I'm a dad. I don't get all that makeup stuff and all that. But I remember this has got to be. I mean, my daughter's 9 now. This is probably when she was 5, 6. She was like, Daddy, I want a vanity. So I was like, I'll get a vanity for Christmas. Well, I didn't realize all the shit that comes with a vanity.
A vanity is not to just sit
makeup,
there.
So she's like, kind of looking at me like, oh, awesome, but where's the stuff to go with it? So the girlfriend's like, oh, you got to get her this, you got to get her this, you got to get her. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's like fuck Mac shit's expensive. You know what I mean? So whatever, get her. And then so she's learning, right? Never done makeup. She's caking it on, and I'm like,
Yes.
how do you tell your kid it looks horrible? You know what I mean?
Right.
You're like, oh, it looks great.
This is why we let her do it at
looks like
3.
hell. And she went through a phase. It was probably a few months where we'd go out and it would just be, and it looked horrible. But I couldn't tell my little girl that. You know what I mean? So thank God she barely puts any on now. So
Yeah, you
it
let
was
her
a phase for
get it
sure,
out. It's
yeah.
like fun. It's just silly and fun. Gemma just puts it. It's like blue all over her face, and she's like, look.
Gemma looks like the Joker when she's done.
My,
It's like
my
all the way
daughter
out.
was-
She's
I'm
actually-
like V. You wear it in the house and that's it.
Yes, we always like. I wash it off her before we. I mean, she's only 3, so it's 4 now. But it was like, and I'm hoping that someday she'll like figure out the balance. Before, like, I didn't figure out the balance and figure out how to do my makeup until I was like 25. Like, it was no. I just was like an athlete, and my mom did never do her makeup, and was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so hopefully they'll figure it out a little faster now with makeup tutorials. But that's a weird
I
dynamic.
feel like
too,
dudes
that
are a
they're
little
never
bit the
gonna-
same. We don't do makeup, but I definitely went through some eyebrow phases. So I was like, what the fuck was I doing with my eyebrows back then?
Nope, I never did that.
No?
I just tweezed them.
Yeah.
I tweezed them.
Well, listen, brother. There was a period of time where you had an afro. So
I kind of got a little.
you got a little.
I got a little. My hair is getting curlier as I get older.
It's funny because he usually keeps his hair short, but for one fight, I don't remember who you fought. You literally grew out a pretty good fro, and I feel like they always use that picture.
It's like
They always-
the one
that's
picture.
It's
like
like I have
go-to.
like a little Jew fro. Yeah. Right? Kind of.
Yeah, they use that picture a lot. Too.
I know. I'm like, dude, I fought one fight out of 30, and it's every
My
picture
hair-
is the
just
curly
get a
hair.
haircut.
Well, this was awesome, guys.
Yeah.
It was great having you in.
We got real
no.
deep for
We
a
did.
minute.
We did. It got dark
back
there.
out.
We came back. We
Not
got light.
deep like
We got-
Roger likes,
Yeah, here we go.
but
Here
you
we
know.
go.
Oh.
Do you?
Here we go.
Here's a question for you, Frankie. Just because we may never see the studio again. Do you always leave that candle going all day? We walked in here, that candle was
No, I was before I left.
You
'cause I
left
wanted to. I was smelling nice
He wanted the
for our
atmosphere.
guests.
You were
to be-
gone for hours and hours and
So
hours,
it
dude.
was all right.
You can't leave a candle going. That's
Says who?
All right.
Says
all right.
who?
Anyway,
Says
Fire-
who?
The fire department.
fire department.
What's gonna happen?
Your house will
burn the
burn.
house
It's gonna run out of candle, and then the light's gonna go out.
Isn't that the truth though? I would feel
Knocks that
guilty
over, your
about it.
house is done.
I think that's the thing.
But
It's
how
like,
is that going to go anywhere? I'd feel nervous leaving it lit, but the reality
If there was
is,
just a
where's it gonna
candle,
go?
listen. If it was just the wax,
just a wax candle?
then yeah, but not in that thing.
Okay, fair enough.
I feel
What
like that
happened?
thing
What
does
happened?
say-
What happened?
I don't know if the
When you
if
came
the-
here,
Biggie knocked it open.
What happened when you?
Over.
No, he was in his cage. What happened when you came here? Is it still lit right now?
Yeah.
It's still lit.
It's still
Fucker,
going.
we're good, buddy.
It's because we're here.
Dude, you don't have good luck in your family with fires. I'm just
This
saying.
is true.
You don't have good luck.
Really?
My parents' house burned down
And his-
5 years
and
ago
his
now. My
father-in-law's.
father's house burned down 2 years ago.
No shit.
Both
Then
beautiful.
yeah, let's not play with candles.
Wow.
I'll get you a thing that has. It's just a light bulb, and it makes
I bet
the
your
smell come out of
dad.
the
I bet
candle.
your dad was saying, "Oh, people leave fucking quads plugged in all the time."
Yeah, nobody
people
knows.
do.
No, it was, yeah,
Was that what it was?
a quad charger went bad. It was
they
old
home?
as shit. And then my father-in-law's house, he's a pond, and the aerator was under the
Koi pond or
under
goldfish pond.
the deck and just went up. It was his house was gone in 30 minutes. Crazy. No one was home.
Holy
Dogs
shit.
died though.
Oh,
Really?
no.
But listen, I
Yikes.
don't know why I'm even bringing this up, but if you knew his father-in-law, they're away, right? They're away skiing. They're away at the mountain. They drive back. Jerry, his father-in-law, pulls in. Renee's dad looks at the house, goes, "This is pretty horrible. All right, get back in the car. We're going back skiing."
Yeah.
Like-
I mean, literally,
like,
what do you do at that
I
point?
wish I could be programmed like that. I would probably be
What
in
do
a
you do at
mental
that
hospital.
point?
Still.
He had it built
Yeah.
already. Same exact house. It's a big house. Literally the same exact one built in less than 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just was like on the same place.
Same exact
It
one.
was just
Kept
like,
the
let's
foundation. and
Looks
just,
like
Kept foundation.
identical.
Just kept the fireplace because the fireplace is the only thing that stayed because the
Yeah.
fireplace was actually done by an Italian mason.
hey.
Forget about it. And that was still standing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hey. So Frankie points at me when he says it. He's like,
Go on.
That was a similar story to just because you brought up the Lamborghini earlier. I was shooting this film out in LA, and it was like, God, so long ago, 20 years ago, and one of the producers, he was there. His kid was in the movie, and he was like had funded half the movie and all this stuff, and it was like the first time I had seen money on this level like ever in my life, and I was like, what? Where are we right now? And he comes to set one day in a Lambo. I think it was a red Lamborghini, and all the guys are like, "Oh my god!" and they're all like freaking out. I was like, "Wow, it's a really pretty car," and everybody else is like, "Ugh." And he's like, "You guys want to drive it?" And then, of course, like there's like 5 dudes lined up to take their turn to drive this thing. Now we're also out in like Sherwood Lake or wherever it is. It's like way out. Wayne Gretzky lived like up the road. It was like this crazy neighborhood up in these like canyons, and he's letting these kids just like go take this car and drive, and all of a sudden we're like going in like to the next scene or whatever, and everybody's like, "Where's Joe? Where is he? Where is he?" And we're like, they went out for a drive and he didn't come back yet." Like they're like, "He's up, like we're shooting him right now, like what is going on?" And they're like, get in the car, go out to wherever he was driving. Sure enough, here's Joe and this other dude like on the side of the road, like, oh my God. I mean, they didn't have cell phones or anything with them at the time. The thing went off the side of the canyon.
What?
And it wrapped sideways around a tree. So the two of them, they didn't go over the full side, but it hit a tree and stopped sideways and they got out.
Wow.
But the thing was wrapped sideways around a tree and almost killed them both and almost went over the completely other side. They just lost control of it. And this poor kid is like, oh my God. Like we flew out from like Brooklyn. Like he's like, oh, what am I going to do? I just wrecked this Lamborghini. Like, oh my God. And this dude shows up with his kid and they roll up and he's like, Dad, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. Oh my God. We were just like doing this. And he's like, man, it's all right. You guys okay? And he turns to his son. He's like, what color should the next one be?
What?
And that was it.
What?
And that was it. And I was like, and you know, like days later, I'm like, is everything? He's like, yeah, the new one's coming like tomorrow. Like it was like that. Like no big deal.
Wow.
I got a buddy, like Red Bank, obviously is a little bit of a nicer town. I got a buddy that's kind of fucking crazy. Great stories about this dude, but he was in, I think it was what was the old cigar lounge that used to be the Ashes. He was in Ashes.
Yeah.
Hanging out. He leaves. Some dude's got a Lambo parked out front. All the dudes are taking pictures of it, whatever, and the owner's just kind of standing there, probably trying to pick up chicks, I'm sure, bullshitting. And my buddy Joe was like, can I sit in it? The dude's like, I don't know about sitting in it. You're gonna take a pic with it, whatever. He's like, just sit in it. You know what I mean? The guy's like, yeah, all right, cool. When the guy's like talking to a chick or whatever, you know what I mean? Joe sits in it, and it's running.
I love
Next
this.
thing you know,
Going.
he shuts the door, right? He's hammered. He's fucking
no.
hammered. He doesn't know how to move it or put it in gear or anything. He figures it out, pulls it ahead, goes like a block. He's trying to turn it around in the street to get back. Fucking cops busting for grand theft auto. He went a block. Yeah. I think it got downplayed or whatever, but he got a DWI out of it. He got a whole bunch of charges.
You
gotta take off.
Take my Lambo Rari. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah. So,
Oh my God. Well, someday we'll have those problems.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
You guys probably before me, but anyway, pleasure having you in, Kevin, Amanda.
Yeah,
thank you so
Yeah,
much.
always good catching up with you guys.
Thanks,
let's
guys.
do dinner
Always
soon.
good combos.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us, guys. It was
Thanks,
fun.
guys.
Definitely. Bash your sons too. Come on, let's go.
Guys, just a reminder, don't forget to find and follow us on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and most other podcast platforms.